Hello, hello. I'm back. I'm ready. I'm all chickened up. Let's get this panel going. This will just be a straight up open panel as usual. I'm enjoying my post chicken glow, afterglow from my visit with the Colonel, my chicken daddy, and just hang out. I haven't checked in a while. It's been like a whole day since I talked to any of you. So, the link should be pinned. Hop on panel if you want. Otherwise, I'll go over news, tweets, etc. I haven't even looked at the news today at all. What was the random act of violence? Let's see the fires. Jack Smith retired from the DOJ, and they said he can release his final report on the Trump case. Okay. If those are the top headlines, so far so good. Okay. Let me check tweets. Oh yeah, Daily War has a new documentary, and oh shoot, it was free this weekend. I forgot to watch it. It's on the transgender craze, kids and transgender ideology. Um, I think that's all I got. I don't really have any tweets because I haven't been on social media the last few days. So just open panel, I guess. Oh, thanks. Um, it's just whatever inspires me in the moment. Um, Let me see if I have any conversations with ChatGPT going. It seems like I've been talking to it a lot, mostly about work and stuff. Okay, what makes a real man? Um, I did the stuff on being overqualified for jobs. Yeah, a lot of it's job stuff. Hey, Zephyr, are your tweets in Norwegian? I do follow you. You know what though? It all depends on what the algorithm feeds me. And the algorithm may not be feeding me your tweets, because hardly anybody's seeing my tweets. Dole Bez. Okay, let's see. I'm really like I use Twitter less and less and less. I almost use Facebook more than Twitter. It seems like I'm gonna end up not using it soon at all lately. It's just a bunch of noise, like information noise. I'm not able to target the people and tweets that I want to see. They don't show up in my feeds. And I get messages from my friends saying, "Oh, I haven't seen you in forever." And then they look at my page and they're like, "Wait, you're still tweeting. We're just not seeing any of it." YouTube is really where it's at for me. It's more dynamic. It's more I like the chaos of it, the spontaneity. I like the unpredictability. I never know what I'm gonna see or do next. And Twitter's just the same old. It's like I know Twitter's pattern by now, and it's not offering me a lot new. And on YouTube, it's like there's always something new around the corner just waiting to happen. Even if it often doesn't happen. I think even streaming and the panelverse has kind of settled into some form of predictability or stagnation. I do what I can to break that up. I mean, I'm open for collaborating on new creative ideas. I try to get things going in the Discord. We try to do gaming stuff a little bit here and there. So I work of whatever's in front of me, but I don't try to force anything. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't really have a lot going on today. I mean, I do get a lot of good opinions, I guess, commentary from Twitter. I could what I get from Twitter is that I get a good idea of what's trending at any given day. I get a good idea of what stories are in the news, what are people talking about, and I get a kind of broad range of perspectives on those stories. So it gives me like a little snapshot on the current topics, the water cooler talk, and a good idea of the 4 or 5 narratives that are going on around each topic, like with the opinion basis around each topic. That's about it. I don't know, social media in general, like maybe the generation after Alpha is going to get bored with the internet completely and just start going back to real life. True quality, not simply authentic. Oh, well, partly it's because I don't always have a choice. I'm bad at not being authentic. I don't know how to not be authentic. But a lot of times that works against me. In fact, usually it works against me. People, especially I think people in more professional settings or business, the places you go to make money and make a living and keep society going, um, they're put at ease if they know you have an ability to play a role when you need to. And if you're just 100% authentic all the time, I think it makes people nervous. Because there's sometimes when they don't, like they know when not to be authentic, and if you don't also know when not to be authentic, you might mess it up for them. So, but that's something Spurgs have dealt with for a while. That our bluntness, our matter of factness. I love people that just tell me what's on their mind, tell me what they're thinking. I like knowing where I stand with people. That's why I love New Yorkers. When I worked at the call center, we talked with people from all over the country, even the world. Um, and the Texans and the New Yorkers were my favorite. The Texans because they were the friendliest. They were the sugar baby, honey, how you doing, sweetie? You have a nice day, darling, sugar. I love the. They were just really pleasant to interact with. I loved when I was on the phone with the Texans and the New Yorkers because they didn't bullshit. They got down to business and the call was over. Like you always knew where you stood with the New Yorker. They didn't. There was no bullshit. They'd call. You know, what the fuck are you doing with my thing? I need this fixed right now. What motherfucker? All right, sir, I could take care of that. Here you go. Done. All right. Bye. Have a good day. Like I like that. Not a lot of social bullshit. Very blunt and direct. That's what I respond to. I don't like a lot of sugarcoating. I don't like a lot of circling around. I don't like a lot of tiptoeing or dancing around. Just give me punch me in the heart. Just give it to me. Hit the bullseye as hard as you can. Bright neon colored markers, lights. Don't be afraid to really Give it to me so I can see it, because I may not get it if you don't. Like, it takes that level of bluntness for it to stick in my brain. All right, we have our guest for the day. It's
Yeah.
our guest for most days lately, in fact. What's up? Thank you for the chicken.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
hope the
Sure.
I hope the Norwegian version is as good as what I had today.
Uh, well, actually, I don't think it is in Norway, but I have eaten it in Sweden. Uh, it's okay. It's good,
Does
but
Sweden have better chicken?
uh,
I mean, are there like national
no, what I'm
chains that are
thinking is
better than KFC?
I don't think KFC is in Norway. I think it's only in
I'm looking it
uh,
up
yeah,
because
me too. But I'm failing at typing
somebody
Google
needs to go
Maps.
start a franchise today. Our
Yeah, all
Popeyes.
the young kids want it.
The real reason there are no KFC locations in Norway. Okay, we're gonna get the tea today.
Oh, let's hear
Um,
it.
you can find KFC across 145 countries and 6 of the 7 continents. Antarctica is the only place without a KFC. Despite all of that, there is one Scandinavian country where you won't be able to find a KFC no matter how hard you look. The reason may not be what you expect. It says sourcing chickens is expensive. That importing chickens would be too expensive due to the economic restrictions because it's not part of the EU.
I mean, that makes sense, but McDonald's still has nuggets.
Yeah, but
Like,
have you seen, like, I don't even know if those are real chickens.
that's true.
I
That's
think
true.
that's a
Although,
chicken paste. Maybe the rules are different for importing chicken paste than it is for
well,
actual chickens.
we don't import much foodstuffs from America at all. The only place I can find any American food in my life is in the import section of some Swedish mega
So
malls. That's the
weird.
only places I can find American food.
What kind of American food do they have?
Well, for example, I can find Dr. Peppers there. That's the
Kraft
only.
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, yeah. You can find
Oh,
mac
is
and cheese
ramen
stuff
noodles
there.
considered American import? That's Asian, huh?
I think I can buy that at least, so I imagine not.
Well,
Uh,
don't they have chickens in Norway? Like, does Norway not have
yes,
chickens?
we have, but
Why
well,
couldn't they
okay.
just use Norwegian chickens?
To be fair, Norway only produces enough food to cover like 30% of its needs. So if we lost all ability to trade, like 70% would starve. We don't make enough food, so we have to import. And apparently, if you're not an EU country, then I suppose I don't know. It's strange. I would have expected I could just buy some chicken from Sweden or Denmark. It isn't too hard, you know. Uh, it isn't as if it's impossible.
Oh, it looks like KFC itself is the one making the decision not to get established in Norway due to a small customer base and high operating cost. And they also mention animal rights regulations. Are they different in Norway?
Much stricter.
Uh, so what are they doing with the chickens then that they're concerned are going to violate animal rights? Is that the ones
Well,
where they like raise them in the like
yeah,
the little
factory farming is
factories
legal.
where they
Uh,
put their neck in those little collars?
yeah, factory farming is you
Norway's not
can't
going
do
to
that
put
here.
up with that.
Yeah, we don't. Which, as long as global trade functions, that's completely fine. But if global trade crashes, some factory farming could have saved us a few thousand Norwegian from starving. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's nice to know that the animals are treated well. That is genuinely something I like. Not recently though, because the biggest milk, uh, what do you call it? The company that produces milk. You call it like the
A
milk
dairy?
emporium. The
A
biggest.
dairy?
No, but it's bigger. It's like a collection of like 12,000 independent farmers from across the country that are sort of unionized, but they aren't underneath. It's a I suppose cooperative, a sort of business structure, the biggest that deals with
A,
milk in
a
Norway.
the milk consortium,
Maybe I don't know. But either way,
conglomerate.
maybe you could call it that. You could probably call it that. Either
Oh,
way, um, the biggest one, which is Tina, they they've recently got a lot of flack for adopting or beginning to listen to some EU incentives to pump their cows full of bovars to limit the methane in the farts of the cows to reduce the climate impact. And that's a big initiative in the EU. We don't care about efficiency. Let's just pump in untested chemicals in the cows so they don't fart as much. And our biggest milk brand did it, but it didn't really work out because now the two other milk brands, which are rivals, they have gone against that, and the public support is on their side. So uh, the big milk brand is actually losing out a lot by oh damn, by experimenting on their cows. But yeah,
wow.
either way though, I don't think that counts in the north of Norway. Because I think my region is technically counted as the north on their internal countings. Because this is another annoying thing about Norway. We have official jurisdictions. We have like actual counties, municipalities, and everything, but people don't really use that. We say like just the east, the west, the south, the north, and other sort of stuff. And so even companies, they just have arbitrary uh, districts. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that the northern part of Tina, they have not switched, and they are not willing to switch to begin pumping their cows. So maybe I would have been safe. Either way, I've always been buying the the Røros brand, which is smaller,
Is that
but
unpumped cows?
yes.
Oh,
So we have there's three big milk consortiums in Norway. You have Tine, you have Q, and then you have Røros. Those three, and well, Q and Røros, they are not pumping their cows. Q tried, like Q was going to do it, but the amount of public backlash and the emails they got and everything convinced them to stop. But Tina had apparently already gotten like the EU support money or whatever, or that. So they continued. But Q turned around and stopped, and Røros never ever did because they are an ecological brand, and so of course they don't experiment like that. But I've been buying them from the start either way, not because I care about the climate or I care about the nutrition, but because that milk is on permanent sale at my main grocery store. That's the
oh.
only reason I buy it. It's on permanent sale. I save a few, like half a dollar every time I buy
Is
milk.
it a sale anymore if it's permanent, or does that just become the price?
Well, it says it's on sale, and it is on sale compared to the other stores. Like it's one of the things they use to attract customers, returning customers. That if you know that that is always sale, every time you want that thing, you go there, and then you're sort of enticed into buying more. And so they have a few of those. But it is right that one of the other permanent sales, they are not worth it. It's like they have a 3 for 2 deal on a bunch of pastas, but those are like luxury pastas, and so that's not worth it at all.
What's luxury? Pasta's cheap. What is how luxury? What do they do for the luxury part? Handmade?
I think it's imported from Italy. I
Oh.
think Barilla, that's an Italian company, I think. And then you have the local brands, and so the price is like a third. So it's not worth it at all. But
Yeah, I mean, when you cook it, it tastes pretty much like the non-luxury pasta.
yeah,
Except for the homemade stuff. Was it DiGiorno that used to have that semi-cooked kind of homemade pasta that came in those plastic containers?
I am.
Sean's saying there's a lot of climate change deniers in Norway, but I think he sees climate change deniers everywhere.
Uh, well, let's put it like this. The people in Norway, the people who believe climate change is real, is probably like 95%. Then the remaining 5 is they are either that it's climate change can happen, but it's not caused by humans, and then you have a tiny little percentage that just doesn't care. But yeah, generally we don't have that because I don't know.
Is it getting warmer
Especially
there?
no, no, no. The 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 thing with climate change is that I think a lot of people are misunderstanding is that it's if we accept that the world is increasing in temperature, the CO2 is increasing, uh, that doesn't necessarily mean that every place will get warmer. Well, it means on average it will get warmer, yes, but the biggest issue isn't warmth. It's that things get more extreme and the unlikely events become more likely. So Norway, for example, the last winter we had an absolute hellish winter, like a winter that normally wouldn't be seen for a century, but it was less than half a century since the last time. And you can see that that's sort of the trend with Norway that we are experiencing. It's not that much colder, but the extreme events happen more frequently. Um,
Well, even that seems undesirable.
yeah, it is undesirable. But again, it's not worth it to degrow our entire economy and lose our welfare and well-being. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing
don't think
I'm
it is either.
against. Uh, until recently, actually this is a funny story. It's sort of a karmic justice as well. So in Oslo, the capital city, um, I don't remember who the main party was, but at least one party part of the ruling coalition in Oslo was the Greens. Uh, and you can imagine that the Greens they implemented a lot of green policies. So one of the things they did was switch out all the diesel buses into electric buses because we already had a lot of buses and public transport. So they did that, and then like less than 2 years later, this hellish winter comes, and all the electric buses just don't work because the batteries aren't made for the winter. They just don't have the electricity. They can't drive, and so hundreds of thousands of people are stuck in the capital and can't get home because all the public transport is gone. Like they have been, told to switch, and they have been incentivized to switch and to use public transport, the trains, the buses, but then the buses have been switched to electric, and so they now don't handle our extreme winters that, happens from time to time. And the trains, their infrastructure is from the 90s. And when the decision came to update it in like the 2015, the leaders decided instead to just stock up on all parts and hope for the best. And now, there's no replacement parts being manufactured because the system is so old. So our trains are also just fucked up and not working because replacing it would be expensive. Yes, we do. We do. We have a lot of Teslas, a lot of electric vehicles, and that's good. I do view that as a good thing. However, you can't really use them in the winter to the full extent. Like the range of your cars decreases dramatically, like at least like 30% less during the winter, just based on the battery, and then probably even more based on how much more effort it takes to drive in the winter. So Norway shouldn't have been the country to switch first. Norway should have been one of the countries to switch last after we had gotten the technology that actual batteries that don't deplete in the cold. But Norway is a land of utopian dreamers, and so we have to switch. And I mean, maybe the crisis of last year with the infrastructure, and maybe the continued crisis now, as they don't have replacement parts anymore, maybe that will finally sort of motivate the government to step in, or rather to step out and let the infrastructure be switched. And I don't know though. Even the right wants to expand the state. It's sort of the left. They see a problem. make the state fix it. The right, they see a problem. Let's expand the state so it can pay companies to fix it. Like yeah, one is better than the other. Actually, I shouldn't say that because it all depends on the time and place. However, right now in the current political climate, one is clearly better than the other. So,
The private
nor
one,
yes,
because the public doesn't seem to know what it's doing or how to do
the
it.
yeah, the public is inefficient. Did you know that the Norwegian welfare state has on all metrics it provides about similar quality to Denmark and Sweden? However, it hires and pays roughly 30% more. So like for the same quality, we pay and hire 30% more. Like, and
Because of the inefficiency.
yeah, because of oil, we don't need to be efficient because 30% of our government budget is covered by the oil fund. We just have free money. Free money. We don't need to care about that. I don't know about GDP, but I did look at the government budget for 2025 like 2 days ago. Don't ask why I was doing that, but however, so it's like I I didn't see a number because I percentage. I saw the real numbers, but I'm thinking of the pie chart, and I think it looked about 35% of between 30 and 40%. It looked like of the government budget. Uh, and Atlas, I don't care how bad America is. America is bad. Their system is horrible. But what I care about is that Norway, with keeping the exact same quality, because we could pay and hire 30% less. Sweden and Denmark proves it. They have literally the same quality, same availability of resources, same quality. Everyone has free access, but they pay less and they hire less. If we could actually be a bit more efficient and redirect that money, like maybe we could fix our train infrastructure. Maybe we could cut taxes. Like you can have taxes and a flourishing private industry, and especially as Norway, we have oil money. If we are efficient, we have 30% more money than our neighbors without doing anything. Like we can be much better, and that's what I care about. I don't care about how bad America is doing. I care about how bad Norway is doing. And currently, Norway is doing horrible. We have way too
Do
much
they know how to
unemployment.
fix the train problem? I thought part of the problem was they don't have an alternative. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, the issue is that fixing it would probably be $100 billion fix because they have to replace the entire train infrastructure of Norway because it's
Oh,
based on 90s systems. So either we have to open our own factories producing those 90s parts, which that's like Soviet level incompetence.
it's
Or
jobs though, huh?
it is, but I'd rather have make those jobs by a, upgrading the infrastructure and just revising it entirely. If we could just save a bit of money, stop being inefficient, we have the hundreds of billions needed to actually revise the entire system. We have the money. Like that's actually the biggest problem of Norway. There's a book that was released in like 2008 that predicted all our problems, but it's only beginning to be popular now. It's that Norway, the country that got too rich, because that's our problem. We have infinite money, literally. Like we we can just, if we wanted to, we didn't need to. Wouldn't need to pay taxes. The government could just take money from the oil money and sustain the entire government for like 15 years without any taxes. We have way too much money, and it keeps growing, and it's also shielding against bad fiscal policies because the oil fund, it's designed in such a way that you are not allowed to invest in Norway. So not a single dollar of its value is in Norwegian krones. And so when our currency falls in value, the oil fund rises because its buying power in Norway increases. So as Norway goes down, the government's money goes up because they can take from that fund, which increases as the value of the krone goes down. So uh, ideally, that's amazing safety net that even if your country is going in a depression, your safety net will still rise and increase. Like that is amazing to have. It just needs to be managed properly, and it is not now. Um, I'll honestly say never, because the biggest sort of the oil fund, I call it the oil fund, but now it's just a stock fund. It's just a stock market fund. Like it's it isn't just money from oil. They invest that into stocks, and the stocks grow as grows and so grows. Actually, I can put it up now. I can show you the website. It's annoying they got a new UI now, but before you would be able to see the value grow live. But now it seems to be not doing that. Oh, it is. Never mind. Here you can see it. If you let me stream, Jeff. There we go. Yeah, here you can see the value change, and you can see how it drops right now, and then tomorrow it'll rise. So this is the current value. So if we just,
How much is that in American?
that's what I.
Oh,
Oh, that I didn't mean to copy it all. Um, let's just transfer that. Yeah, so 1.7 trillion American dollars. That's our savings account.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
you
y'all
can
still
understand.
can't figure out how to get your update your trains and get your buses running in the
Yeah,
winter.
that's our savings account, and so here you can see the growth in years and how fast. And so the black part, that's the added value from selling oil. The blue part, that's added value from the stock market. So as you can see now, right now, the increase is
So they sell the
primarily.
oil and then they invest it, and the investment grows.
Yes. And so you can see that the contribution from oil
They're
has
compounding
stabilized a
wealth.
bit. But the stock market, well, that will grow exponentially. Like, it isn't unrealistic that this will continue to grow extremely fast. But there's a great thing. This is a great contribution. That's what I consider the most important. And that's the growth of value based on the current exchange rate of our currency. Because since this is not traded in our currency, as our currency falls, this increases. So our safety net responds to a bad economy. So as our economy worsens, our safety net gets better, and vice versa. And so we're always sort of safe, but that also makes us complacent. So yeah, you can see how recently the inflation sort of began, uh, because this is all inflation, like inflation, amount of inflation relative to the currencies the stock is traded in. And so you can see how it has been increasing more and more, and that's the value of our currency has plummeted. Really, it's insane how far it has fallen. But it's fine. We're still rich, but
Yeah, y'all have a lot of first world problems. No
yeah,
one's.
that Norway, the country that got too rich. Like when you look at this, when this is the sort of thing that politicians can look at, that no matter what they do, they have what would you say, 1.7 trillion US dollars to just fall back on. It's not that, you don't feel that it doesn't feel that necessary to grow and be careful, because
But y'all, and
that
all of that, and you still can't figure out a way to get KFC to invest
yeah,
in your nation.
yeah, well,
All that money and can't afford KFC.
interesting thing though, you can see the bump here, how it was
Oh,
slowly going down.
hang on. Let me reshare it.
Oh yeah, you can also see how the contribution from selling oil increases and increases, and then it starts to slow down, which is the climate
Oh,
wave.
slightly.
Yeah, the
But
greens
that
slow
was
down.
look at 2020. That was happening all over the world with oil.
Yeah, but this is Russia. This is when Russia cuts the cables and Germany has to import from us. So
Uh,
that's like we are war profiteering. Like the oil fund earns immensely from the war in Ukraine. Norway is growing rich on that war. And I say Norway specifically because Norwegian people are not, but Norway as a nation is growing immensely wealthy from this. And well, again, the same with the gray parts. That's us growing wealthy from our own ineptitude. And the blue part, that's us growing wealthy from American inflation spending and the stock market. So, like, as
Why wouldn't
America
any
grows,
of that translate to the people themselves? What's the point of having a wealthy nation and the citizens poor?
well, they aren't poor. Well, okay. The original intention from this is that this is the retirement fund of Norway.
Oh,
That when Norway's demographic cycle gets to the point that there's no longer enough young people to sustain the old, we now have saved up so much money that we can sustain all the old.
so are
Uh,
your old people getting some of this?
no. This is more about sustaining the state because the state pays out the pension, and so they can use this instead of the taxes, which the old people are no longer paying. However, we are getting from this. That's because you each year the politicians can take 3% of this fund. That they can spend 3% a year of the fund, and that is what contributes like 30% to 40% of the government budget. So,
Oh,
uh,
okay. So the people are seeing something
yes, but
from it.
it's paying for the government's inefficiency. You know that's quite simply what it does. This is paying for their inefficiency because they don't get punished if they suffer, if they do bad, because they can just
Because the voters don't punish them?
yeah. But well,
Like
the
would if the
voters
could
don't
the
feel it.
voters punish them if they wanted to?
Yes, but the voters don't feel it because of this fund. Because this fund will sustain the inefficiency of the state. If it doesn't matter if it does badly with the money or not. It just has infinite money it can take from. And so the people don't feel it because they still get the goods. They just get it much less efficiently, which, you
And
know,
they don't care?
yeah, they don't care. And
Oh, okay. Well, then that is the political will of Norway.
yeah, it is.
That
Not
is their
anymore, though, it
values.
seems. Because right now, this gray bar, the inflation in Norway, hasn't exactly been kind, nor has electricity prices. So people are suffering now, and people want change, but I doubt we will
But you
have
say
such.
that, but then you say they don't vote for the change.
Well, because we haven't voted in 2, 3 years, and the problems
Oh.
have become horrible since then. The
Oh, so
last
this is
vote we
all
had,
recent
yes,
stuff. Okay.
like basically the time from 2008 until 2019. That's the golden age, Norwegian golden age. Everything was going well. Economy booming. Our industries
But it's
booming. Our
going even
private
better
sector
now.
boom. Well, that's the oil fund. Everything else in the economy is not booming. All our rich people are leaving because of high taxes and inflation. It's a regressive tax. Basically, that's what it is. It is a tax on the poor. It's hurting the poor, and so they have it even worse. And yeah,
Do y'all have lotteries over there?
yes, we do. But that's also taxed. We do have lotteries, but no, not us. I
So,
think we own parts of the American debt. Like part of the oil fund is value papers, which include like bonds, government bonds. I'm sure we own a big part of the American debt.
do you get any money from that pool, the oil pool you just showed us?
Well, I
I'm trying to
suppose
find out if any portion of my chicken came from that Norway oil fund.
I did. I did go to the hospital a few years ago, so I
Oh,
suppose that. And so
but it
my
not it's
siblings,
not part of your school money.
maybe, but at the same time, like Sweden and Denmark also have really good school money. That's the thing. Like Sweden and Denmark is the perfect example that a nation of our similar culture, our similar politics, because the political scene is the exact same basically. The only difference is that they don't have oil, and so they are more efficient. They give out relatively the same quality. Now we have better living standards. We are richer, um, but that's it's not by that much actually. So yeah, but part of your chicken probably. I'm sure that the little extra of the student money
So then, if
is
you have
there.
some American in Washington State getting a little bit of that oil money, it seems like its own citizens should be getting more.
Yeah.
Like,
Although,
at least get a KFC. Like, somebody should at least find a way to get a KFC into Norway. I feel like with all that oil money, if an
well,
American can benefit from KFC funded by Norwegian oil money, privatize their oil. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a not lost quote. I didn't notice. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, he he's doing the mental heuristic that efficiency means it's private. No, no, the private industry is often more efficient. That doesn't mean we can't have efficient government. I, I think one of the most genius things our past politicians did, and these were the socialists, were setting up the oil fund and then setting the limits on the extraction value you can take from oil fund. Also a socialist politician. I think that's genius. It's the reason we can fuck up and still survive. It allows us to make mistakes. Uh, but at the
But you
same
said
time,
it's hurting you. It's not allowing you to make mistakes in a way that's helping your citizens. It's doing it in a way that's holding you back as a country.
yes, it
So
is.
that's show me the genius in that.
The genius is that if the leaders were actually good, it would give us a step up ahead of the entire rest of the world. Like, which we, to be fair, still have. There is a reason that Norway has among the highest GDPs per capita of the world. Not that much anymore because of inflation. Fuck that. But before inflation started, 2019, Norway was, I think, actually the number one country in the entire West if you exclude microstates and Luxembourg. Um, so we were benefiting from it. Like, we are rich, but we need an efficient government. We need a government that's actually
But
capable.
you said you don't because you're insulated from like there's nothing that incentivizes you to be. You don't need efficiency. You have
Well,
the luxury of not needing
yeah,
efficiency.
you are correct on that. But as a voter, I can still vote for those who actually prioritize efficiency, even though they don't necessarily need it. They want it. I want it. Let's be more efficient. Uh, well, I found another cool chart too, which I think you'll appreciate and shows them. Uh,
Wow, Norway has the largest sovereign wealth fund in the world.
yeah, that we have bigger than China. It's roughly
Yeah,
like
China's
two.
number two.
Yeah.
In fact, the China has the second and third, and then
uh,
the United Arab Emirates.
I think it's like 2-3% of the entire world economy, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I look at this chart of our GDP. Do you see like all this fuckery after like 20, like in the recent times? Like, what is this? Why is there constant growth? A few dips,
Yeah, why
constant
is
growth.
there? But even the dips are higher than before. What I can't really make out the dates at the bottom. What's that
Okay,
middle
so
date?
this first peak, that's the right before 2008. Then the dip, that's 2009. So that's the housing market crash. So that dropped us by $17,000 a year in GDP per capita, which is an
Yeah, but
insane
that's
amount.
still higher than almost any year
Yeah,
before.
yeah. See, we still have 80,000 GDP per capita, and then in 2011 we rise up to 101,000. And this dip here, that's basically just inflation taking its toll and the oil crisis. I don't think it was called a crisis, but it was a dip in oil prices in 2017 or 2016 around that time. But this was felt only on the metrics and by the oil sector. The rest of the economy was thriving perfectly well. So like the oil shows disproportionately here. Uh, then it increases, and then of course you hit like 2019 lockdown, and you see the COVID lockdowns down to 68,000. So roughly back to when I was born. which is kind of crazy that uh, it
Yeah, but look
basically
how high it went after COVID, higher than it's ever been.
that's Russia. That's Russia. And so then our GDP gets like supercharged because Russia, or maybe the USA, we're not sure who cut the Nord Stream. I wait, who do I think actually sabotaged the Nord Stream pipes?
Let's assume it's Russia.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's not get into that. Let's assume it's Russia. So basically, that means that Germany now's gonna freeze in the winter unless they find energy. And so Norway, and so we sell it to
So
them.
then how did it end up dropping from there?
Inflation. That's the bad policy. And as Germany sort of diversifies a bit away, and bad management, and yeah, inflation is a big part of it. As it's like this peak is Germany. Like we go down, that's lockdown, and then we rise a bit, but we have still pumped a lot of extra currency, so inflation is a bitch. But then Germany sort of recovers from that again, or drags us up again, and then we fall again. It's like all of this is because a very big part of our economy is one resource. It's not so bad that we don't survive without it, but it's big enough that when it goes bad, we drop down to normal Scandinavian levels, uh, which is what this is. Like normal Scandinavian levels, I think. Maybe a bit higher. Yeah. Actually, we should probably see the GDP per. Yeah, and here you can see the uh, even better that if you adjust by purchasing power, this is mostly because of I think American inflation that are since we had less inflation and oil at the same time relatively value. So if we look by 2015, yeah, there's not really that big of an impact. Um, this is actually very fascinating though that you see the difference between like if we look by 2015 units and so we just ignore inflation, like it's 78,000, but what it says is 87,000. And like all of these dips, they don't really exist. They are very minor if you look at an actual value or not. Yeah, in actual value. Oh, that's interesting. What
God,
does
my
that mean?
heart breaks for y'all with your you struggling like that with your the largest sovereign wealth fund on the planet.
It's funny though.
But I still it still does not explain to me or justify no KFC and trains and buses that don't work in the wintertime.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's
It
a
doesn't.
huge amount of dissonance between those numbers you're showing me and those facts on the ground.
Yeah. Well, the major reason there's two reasons basically that companies aren't that willing to start in Norway. Actually, for KFC, it's only one. Uh,
Chickens,
yeah, it's regulations. We have
chicken
so many
supply.
regulations. That's it. However, the second issue, I know that it's not why KFC isn't there, but it's why domestic business is doing so badly. So in Norway, we have the wealth tax. Um, you get taxed like 1.1 to 1.4% of your wealth, of your net worth. So if you're rich, even if that's just in stocks, you now have to pay, even though you haven't sold anything, no nothing.
That doesn't seem unreasonable. 1%.
Remember that. Okay, it doesn't hurt the rich who are just saving. It hurts the entrepreneurs who have a profit margin of maybe 1%, maybe half a percent profit margin in the early parts because they're still paying off loans. Maybe they even have 2%, but then that 1% cuts in, and so they're left with like 1% to survive. Like
That seems like a really low profit margin.
yeah, a lot of startups have a low profit margin because they're
Oh.
still experimenting, and so like once you've got past the experimentation stage, that 1% extra, that's fine, that works. But it's in that stage of actually starting a business that it hurts, and you see a ton of entrepreneurs who move abroad, and specifically, Sweden, for example. Sweden is identical in regulations basically and the taxes. However, it doesn't have the wealth tax, and so uh, you aren't you aren't taxed on things that aren't earning you money because your value in a company doesn't necessarily earn you money. It's profit does, and so if you're taxed on a profit, they know that they can sustain that, because that's already part of what they're getting paid. But yeah,
So what is Norway tax that other than the profit, the assets?
yeah, your value. They estimate your value, and you get
Not
taxed based on
just the
that.
profit, but your total. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they
it's
kind of do that
actual.
here a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to pay taxes on your business assets, whether you're making a profit or not.
Do you know what the stupidest thing though is, Jeff? This tax is only on domestic companies, and so international companies like McDonald's or Amazon, they are not paying that in Norway.
Do
But
they have to pay
domestic,
anything? They have,
yeah, they don't pay that wealth tax. They still pay income taxes and such,
oh,
but they
okay.
don't have to pay wealth tax, which is just, I don't know why.
I
Why would
just
you
I
kill
don't
your
feel
own
sorry for
industry?
y'all that with all that oil money. It just doesn't evoke pity in me. I
Why
don't
would
feel
you kill
bad
your
that
own industry?
Norwegians have to pay a wealth tax when they're sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars of oil money.
Oh, you know what's funny, Jeff? Last year, I think it was last year. Maybe it was earlier this year. Let's just assume it last year. Last year they found a massive new phosphate deposit in southern Norway that is valued at being the biggest phosphate deposit in the
The
entire
what
world.
biggest what?
Phosphate. It's necessary for
Oh,
agriculture. So it's basically what that resource alone means that we can have 8 billion people. And so until now, Morocco was the only country with a big supply. Like literally, if you see bars, like it's all other countries, and then yeah, Morocco, like way up. And now Norway found an even bigger one. Uh, and so we basically found oil again because the potential revenue from that is identical to oil. It's a necessity that the entire world economy relies on. And we found it in such quantities that there's no competition. It's free money. We keep getting blessed and cursed at the same time. Uh, so I only hope that a sensible government is in place when we begin extracting that. And yeah,
well, yeah, but you said that Norwegians don't vote for sensible governments.
we didn't. We didn't.
Oh,
Right now, I think we are. And I only say that because the parties I like to vote for are probably going to win. And they did win in my municipality. The party I vote for, it didn't get the most points. The party I vote for didn't get the most, but it got the second most, and it's in the ruling coalition with the one that got the most. So that's a win in my book. It's in the ruling coalition, and the two that leads, I'm completely fine with them.
well, I hope y'all figure out all of your rich first world problems.
I hope so too. Imagine if we could just like imagine the life when instead of having a GDP per capita double of Germany, we could have triple or even quadruple. Like imagine that life. Imagine how rich and powerful it could be.
Yeah, I'm surprised the citizens are not more motivated to get a piece of like get a cut of that pie.
But that's not in our culture. You have to understand that a lot of people, like for example Bernie Sanders, he always talks about socialism in Scandinavia. But yeah, you can call it that, but it's more just Scandinavian culture. One part of it, like I've talked to the two sides of like Norway. That goes in general for Scandinavia. That adventurous, exploratory side, and
Right,
then
y'all are Vikings. Like, why don't y'all pillage that shit?
yeah. Well, some people are saying we are pillaging. We are war profiteering currently. The longer the war in Ukraine goes on, the richer we get. So, you know, if I only cared about profits, it would be in my best interest to prolong the war in Ukraine for as long as possible and blow up any potential new Nord Streams. Maybe that was Norway. Maybe it was Norway
Well,
that
they
blew up the Nord
said no.
Stream.
They said it was Ukraine.
Okay.
When Germany did their investigation, they said it was
So
some
America says
Ukrainians on
Russia,
the
Russia
Andromeda
says
yacht.
America, Germany says the Ukraine, and Sweden and Norway are silent,
Yeah, they didn't say. They did their investigations, but they didn't say. They didn't
which that makes me
conclude.
think that it's either Russia or America, because either it's an ally and they don't really want to talk about it because it's not nice, or it's Russia and they don't want to provoke anything. Um, so, I don't know though. I I don't really care who it is. I want to find out, of course, but I don't. What matters now is the result, and the result is that Germany, well, Germany faces karma. It faces its justice for shutting off nuclear power and getting addicted to Russian oil, and we profit from their ineptitude. So not only are we profiting from our own ineptitude, we also profit from the ineptitude of Germany. It's never-ending cycle. Some good leaders set up a system that allows bad leaders to exist. Even worse now, actually, when a few years ago we joined the Acer deal, which is a pan-European, like a European Union um, trade agreement that has its intention to equalize energy prices across the entire continent. Now, that's I like the idea. If I wasn't Norwegian, I, like Norway has significantly lower energy prices than Europe, so necessarily ours had to increase after we joined, and it did. And now we're suffering for that again. Our electricity prices are through the roof. We actually have to pay for it now. Electricity before was so cheap that it was basically free. See? And another reason why Norway is so lucky, we've had free, basically green energy since the 1910s and 20s because of all the mountains and fjords and the hydropower. We've had green energy since the start. We've never relied on coal or oil. We have a lot of oil, never relied on it. We've always been hydropower. It produces so much that you know, um, we it's basically free. In fact, before the Acer agreement, certain times of the year, it would cost negative money to get electricity because it was more profitable for electricity companies to give it to you for free than let the reservoirs overrun. And the reservoirs are basically batteries. So that's another good thing about hydropower is that it's a battery. It's not like wind where you have to wait for the wind to come, but hydropower is a battery. You can just have a dam, and when you need electricity, you open it. When you don't, you don't. So we yeah, geography has sort of blessed us immensely.
It's blessed your state, but your people are not benefiting from it. So you
Yeah.
can cry up the all this wealth all you want, but it's not until I don't know why the people wouldn't want any of that. Like in Alaska, they have oil money too, and everybody in Alaska gets money every year just from living there. It goes like it gets the citizens get a cut of that. Jeremy, you're in Alaska, right? How does that Alaska oil money work? Of course, I don't know. That's government too. It's not private. Buys you a lot of tech because Louisiana has a lot of oil money too. But a lot of it's private companies, but they're constantly giving back to the community too.
Oh, what do you call it? I had to.
An oil dividend. Yeah, why can't Norwegian give dividend payments to its citizens out of that oil fund?
Uh, uh, I've actually thought about that a lot, but yeah, I do agree. It would be a good solution.
I just I if I just hope you get your trains running. If not KFC, at least get you some warm transportation for the winter. Which is y'all have a long winter there, huh?
Yes, we
A
do.
lot of winter. And yeah, what about Greenland? Is that an option? before
You know,
Trump
I'm still
snatches it up.
salty. Yeah, as a Norwegian, I'm obliged to still be salty about Greenland because Greenland was ours. It was colonized by Norwegians, settled by Norwegians. It was a constituency of the Kingdom of Norway. But in 1814, when the Danish and the Norwegian state broke apart, the Swedish diplomats, who were merging with Norway, forgot that Norway owned Greenland. And the Danish diplomats, they didn't say anything. So Denmark just kept Greenland, even though it was legally and constitutionally a part of Norway and had been since the Viking Age, since it was settled. It's like, just because the Swedes were forgetful, we lost something that had been part of us for longer than the existence of
How
America.
how did it end up at the mercy of the Swedes if it
Oh,
was yours?
because okay, in 1814 or the lead up to 1814, Norway and Denmark are the same country. They are merged in Denmark and Norway, a single state. But before that, they had been two states, one monarch. So the Danish monarch was also the monarch of Norway, and Norway was the lesser partner, but they were still partners. And Denmark merged the states, and so all territories of Norway and Denmark, they were now legally under one crown. However, after the Napoleonic Wars, since Sweden sided with Britain and Denmark, Norway, we were with Napoleon, we lost. And Sweden had earlier lost Finland to Russia. And so to compensate them, they were granted Norway. Now we fought against them and wrote a constitution and all that. But ignoring that, um, we still agree with them and became a part of Sweden. However, in that sort of that moment, what had originally been part of the crown of Norway, that had then been part of the crown of Denmark, Norway, now instead became part of the crown of Denmark, when it should have been stayed a part of Norway instead. So yeah, Greenland, Iceland, the Faroe Islands, all the North Atlantic colonies should be ours. Because in the Viking Age, the Norwegians, we were the ones in Atlantic Oceans, we were the ones in Scotland and the ones in Ireland. Denmark, they were the ones in England. That's sort of where we were, and so they stole it from us. They stole it.
Do you have an opinion on the whaling in the Faroe Islands? I know Barney's going to want to know if he's watching this. How the white people are killing whales and getting harassed by environmentalists, but all the brown people across the world that are killing whales, it's just seen as part of their cultural folkways.
Well, let's say the same thing. It's part of their culture in Greenland.
Yeah, but that's not because they're white. They're not. That argument's not flying like it is with the Eskimos and the other people that kill whales. And so his argument is that it's racist against white people.
Yeah, well, it's not just the white people there. We can bring in the natives that came here after the Vikings. Just have to add that.
The Faroe natives, but aren't they white?
Oh, you're talking about the Faroe Islands? I thought
Yeah.
Greenland. They also do whaling. No, the Faroes. Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They are ethnic Norwegians. Actually, I don't know. Racial Norwegians? Is
Oh,
ethnic more
the
cultural things?
the Faroans are Norwegian?
Well, no, but they come from the same culture group as Norway. So Norse, the Nordic people are split in the West
It
Norse and
looks
the
like the
East
same
Norse.
flag.
Yeah. Well, we all used what is it called? The cross of.
Yeah.
There was a Vendic crusade in the Baltic, so a lot of the Viking states or the Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish Christian states were crusading to convert the Baltics Christian, and that's a thing most people forget, that there was also crusades in the north. However, during that, I think it became popular, that type of cross, and so all the Scandinavian nations adopted it, including England and more stuff other. However, what I was going to say is that the Norse, they are divided into two groups: the West Norse and the East Norse. And no, I don't have Thor's hammer. I'm more of an Odin fan myself, but I still like Thor. But I am a man of Odin rather than Thor. But don't let me digress. I need to get to my point.
Oh, well, stop reading the comments.
It's difficult, Jeff. I'm not made for this. I'm made to talk and
you
ramble, and so I just get dragged all over the place. but okay. All I was trying to say that turned into a 5 minute monologue is that
A
the
5 minutes is
Norse,
like an hour AMA.
yeah, the
Norway.
Norse people can be divided into West Norse and East Norse, and the East Norse, that's the Danish and the Swedish. The West Norse, that's the Norwegians, the Faroese, and the Icelandics and the Greenlanders. That's it. That was all I was trying to say. That was literally all I was trying to say. That Faroe Islands was a West Norse and thus part of the same group as Norway. Ah,
Well, y'all are killing whales. It's very sadistic ways, apparently. Hey, Jeremy, are you going to the People's March Saturday? It's the rebranded Women's March with. I think there's going to be a now the ratio of pussy hats to other groups is going to be increased. They're having one here too, a protest, but maybe I'll go like walk by and try to stream it because I'm doing an all day MLK stream too, a holiday stream. And we could talk about civil rights and black people all day. She doesn't. Well, she doesn't make the pancakes though. It's just the syrup, huh? Oh no, she has pancake mix, doesn't she? Ain't Jemima pancake mix? But she's not around anymore. Only Mrs. Butterworth, the white lady, got to stick around. They got rid of all of the black brands in the name of racism. Yeah, you're right. It's a pancake mix and a syrup and other breakfast food products. What other products? Oh my God, they had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Aunt Jemimas by now. 11 different people portraying her. What's your favorite food
look,
from Norway? Your favorite Norwegian food?
look down in the corner.
Tacos, Norwegian
Oh, okay.
tacos, fish
I
tacos. We have those here too.
no. I think no. Just I don't know.
Sardine tacos.
No, it's just tacos with like ground beef or whatever. Like I have heard that the tacos in Norway is wildly different from Mexico. So it arrived in the 70s, but it got became such a big hit that every family has their own variants, and there's almost wars that do you include the carrot or not? Like, and some say it's horrible, others not. Like, do you have guacamole or not? Like, it's very, very funny. But okay, I understood the
Why
question.
Norwegians love tacos. There's a whole article on it. Well,
Yeah, we
I
do.
feel like you're dodging the question though.
Yes, I am. That's because I'm struggling to think of a traditional Norwegian dish
That
that's
you actually like.
well, no, but that's specifically Norwegian. Because if I say things like, "Oh yeah, surkål with potato and meat cake, carbonara cake," how do you even say that thing? Meat cake. That's fine. Like if I say that, that's a common thing
Meat
in
cake
both
sounds
Sweden.
so gross. Just
Yeah,
we have meat pies here, and because I know what they are, it sounds less gross. But meat cake
yeah. It's
sounds
just a
nasty.
patty. It's basically just a patty, a meat patty. But
Oh, a pate?
I no,
Oh, a
I
patty
yeah, like
without
kind of
the
like a
hyphen.
burger, but thicker and less burgery. Uh, just normal
I don't
meat.
want to know. I had my chicken today. I'm I'm satisfied. I don't
But
need to
what
have it ruined by
else?
meat cake.
Traditional. I like I like the pancakes, but I've heard or I've seen that what I call Norwegian pancakes, what my Swedish family called Swedish pancakes, what the Germans call German pancakes, that's just pan-European pancakes. And then it's Belgium and America that have different pancakes. Uh, so like, and waffles. Like we also have called waffles, like Norwegian waffles, Swedish waffles. But it's again pan-Europe, and then like Belgium and America that has the different
Is it
version.
more like a crepe?
No, no, no. Our pancakes are really long and flat
Like a crepe.
that you can roll up. No,
Yeah, that's a crepe.
isn't
So
that
less the
isn't the
Aunt
crepe really
Jemima
small?
style.
Okay, yeah, like a crepe. Yeah, like a crepe.
Or crepe.
Yeah, uh, and our waffles are again long, but our waffle irons are they have heart shapes. So every single waffle is like 5 pieces of hearts that you can rip up, and then you have a little piece of heart that you can eat. It's very cute. It's like for some reason every single waffle iron company in Norway just decided and agreed that you have to do it in hearts. It has to be hearts. It has to be. Can't be anything other than hearts.
That
It
doesn't
has to be a
sound
little.
very masculine or very Viking.
Wow, we we are more than just Vikings. We are wholesome Christians as well, but we forgot the Christianity part, but we retain the wholesomeness. And the Vikings, they were also farmers. They were also just husbands and fathers and traders, and yeah, it's
And
actually
thugs.
yeah, we were that too, definitely. But
Gangsters.
yes, especially. Uh, you know what's funny though? It's really interesting to see. For example, you found graves in York, in England, the city that New York got its name from, named Jorvik by the Vikings. So it was originally a Viking settlement, and that around there you found graves which contain statues of the Buddha in York, in England, during the Viking Age, and that's because the Vikings they traveled so far. So like you would trade things like that, emeralds from India, statues of Buddha from the Far East, and I imagine just some Viking, some Norseman, you know, he's in England and he has a cousin who trades in the East, and he get just for Christmas, for Yule. We still call it Yule actually in Norwegian,
Do
but
y'all
it's
have
cringe if.
reindeer up there?
Yeah, um, we have. But what was I saying? Yeah, I just imagine by Christmas or by Yule, you just get this little statue of a fat man, and you're wondering like, what is this? And 1,000 years later, we know that's the Buddha. That's the enlightened guy, the enlightened monk from the East. But that Viking guy, like, how would he know? That's just a cool statue you probably got from his cousin. Like, what is that? The
But they
world
probably
is.
knew at the time too that it was a Buddha.
Mm,
Like if
mm,
they knew where it came from, huh? If someone was given a
so there's
statue,
multiple chains. You have to
huh?
remember that the Vikings didn't really travel from one end to the other. There's multiple steps. So you have one trade network that goes from Scandinavia
But
to up to
as it
Atlantic.
got traded, as they passed it on through the network, they would
Yeah,
identify it. Like they'd say, "Here, this is a statue we found in China called the Buddha." They wouldn't
yeah.
just say, "Here, take this weird little figure and go trade it."
Yes, I do agree. They might know somewhat, but I don't think they know that much at all. Uh,
And
but
so, if you got it as a gift for Yule, whoever gave it to you would probably say, "Here, this is a Buddha from the
yeah,
East. It means good luck, and I'm giving it to you because I want you. It's a gift that I want you to have good luck."
it's actually kind of crazy though that during the Viking Age, it was possible for a man in Greenland to have a statue of the Buddha, and for a man in Sri Lanka, in India, to have a beaver pelt from North America. Because that's the main business of
Yeah,
the
that makes
Greenlanders.
perfect sense. What time period you said?
So roughly from the settlement of Greenland and when they began extracting ivory and felt, so around like 11, 1100
Yeah, that makes
until
perfect sense.
yeah. Don't break my
Oh, I'm I'm de-romanticizing your
Yeah.
history.
Don't you know that the average person views the Middle Ages as this despotic Dark Age period? You know, I like breaking it.
Well,
It's nice
for the
to.
average peasant on the ground, it was, but like
Oh yeah,
globally,
well, yeah, sure, but when we look back, like, sure, statistically, we would uh, we would be the peasants, but if we look at the actual class we all inhabit, even the lowest of working class, if we look at the sort of social standing and position in society, we wouldn't be the peasants of the past. We would either be the actual nobility or the rich merchant elite. Like that's that. Yeah, but I don't take the white shrooms.
what are you doing? I think we have someone that does.
Yeah, he does take the white shrooms. No, you don't take the fluesop. Don't take fluesop. You can take flainsop. They look very different, but they sound very the same. Don't take
Yeah,
fluesop,
don't
which is
take
red
those
food.
red and white
Yeah,
mushrooms. Those
they're
are
just
bad for
poison.
you.
Yeah, they're just poison that has a psychedelic side effect. There actually grows just straight up psychedelic mushrooms in Norway. Sorry.
Mm.
If you're gonna do some, take that. Don't take the fluesop. Don't
The
take the red and
amanita.
white.
I never, and hello everybody. I've never messed with any kind of psychedelics. Can you imagine me high?
I was
Holy
about to
shit!
say yes. Thank you.
No, but I've always been afraid, like, because when you kind of lose yourself, I know people talk about like, I've heard people talk about like, oh, it's a good trip, like the Native Americans. I'm very much into Native American history, the peyote, and they would smoke the stuff and they would have like they I guess it was like closer to nature. They'd have like hallucinations. I'm talking about like the peace pipe and all that stuff. But they were like, I don't know if was that mushrooms that they were smoking. What is that stuff?
You talking
But
about peyote?
yeah, peyote. What is it made from?
I think they did all of it, depending on where they lived.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because peyote's only found in certain parts of the North America.
is it plants? Is it like a certain
It's a
plant or something?
cactus,
Okay, gotcha.
or a cactus button.
Cacti.
The the flower, part the
Mhm.
flower comes from. I think.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. I mean, like, just kind of like touch bases, like on like the world today. I know you're kind of like seeing like everything kind of running by. Like, there's so much stuff going on. Like Trump's coming into office. Biden's pardoning people left and right. You got the wildfires. You got a lot of religious stuff coming out, and
Does Trump had
apparently,
even taken office yet? Has he? When does he start?
the
20th.
20th, the 20th.
So seven
Is that
days.
MLK Day?
I'm not sure, but he's
It is.
officially
It
the
sure
president
is. Martin
on the
Luther
20th.
King and the
Yes,
second presidency of Donald Trump on the same day.
it's going to
That's
be
going to be
something else.
fun. I'm doing an all-day stream that day.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Trump is closer to MLK and then the Democrats.
Yeah, I can go. I have friends of mine. I have actually quite a few friends that are actually going to the inauguration. They're going, but it's going to be a lot of rigmarole. It's going to be a lot of craziness, people yelling. It's going to be a lot of traffic, and it's kind of like this. Like when you go to a concert, right? You love the concert, but then when you're trying to leave, it takes you 4 hours to leave. All the people in the parking lot and the cars. So imagine the inauguration. People are probably going to be stuck in traffic or trying to get out of the areas for like 6, 8 hours.
Yeah, why
There's
go through all that when you could just hang out here all day?
Well, it's historic. It's historic to say that you actually were there. My feet were there. I was actually there. It's something you could tell your family. You could tell yourself. And I was there to participate in that event.
You could
Um,
lie.
yeah,
Just
but
say you were there.
there's a lot of people telling him, don't do the walk down the avenue, to basically do it like from a remote location because there's so much
Get a
credible
Pope Mobile.
threats.
Do it from the Pope Mobile.
Right?
Oh, that would be
Remember
awesome.
he used to drive in it. He used to wave, and that the glass was over his
I
head.
remember when I remember when he got shot.
Mhm.
the, re-
Yeah,
I remember the reason for the Pope Mobile.
yeah, I remember that. But people take it, but for some reason, people are taking this to an extreme. With Trump, I don't know why people hate him so much. He's brash, but I mean, he gets stuff done. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Dolbez, you're in another country, so it doesn't really affect you at all.
They don't
It
like his
affects me.
personality and he offends their moral
But you are,
sensibilities.
but Dolbez's country is our NATO ally. So you are NATO allies with us. So it does affect you somewhat in your economy. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna pop off. I think there's gonna be like spontaneous people like trying to create riots. But there's gonna be so much law enforcement and
The Pussy Hats are
National Guard.
marching, but they're doing it the Saturday before. They're not doing it
Yeah,
on the because it's MLK Day, and they don't want to be seen as competing with MLK.
sir. Yeah. Well, other than that, I mean, I saw your little fry debacle. I'm sorry that I couldn't have told you. I couldn't have told you don't go to KFC to get fries. Their fries are
Yeah, I
terrible.
didn't know because you know what? It's
Yeah.
marketing. They call them what?
Yeah.
Super secret what do they call them? Super special fries or something. So they make it
Yeah.
sound like it's something that you don't want to
Special
miss out on.
spice mix.
They're like the fries you'd get like in the Great Value bag at Walmart,
Yeah, they're
like in the frozen.
bland. They
Yeah.
look seasoned, but they don't taste seasoned.
Mhm. I can make some mean fries from scratch. Potatoes, I make them with
But
the skin on
Exact
them.
same thing I said. Homemade
Yeah.
fries are better.
the chicken more than made up for it, though.
But the thing is that when you make fries, when you make really, really good fries, see, McDonald's uses a special oil. I don't know if you know that. They have a special oil they use. That's not just regular vegetable oil. It's some kind of blend. And then when you go to like say Five Guys or like steakhouses, they put their fries in peanut oil. It's a whole different flavor.
Super secret recipe fries. So they make it like you're getting in on a secret recipe.
I was talking. I was I was talking to my dad, right? And we just randomly started talking about because we talk about like stuff that's just not really relevant to the day. But I'm like, Dad, have you ever seen the
I could
videos of
pretty much
McDonald's
imagine.
McDonald's pink goo nuggets? And he's like, oh, he's like, that's bull crap. I was like, all right, watch this. And I pulled up all the videos of them showing the pink goo nuggets. I'm like, and he's like, ugh. All like, McDonald's is, dude, they're weird, man. They're weird. Yeah, I after I saw that video of the pink goo, I could never eat chicken nuggets again. I could never at McDonald's. I could never do it.
I haven't touched a nugget in yeah, me neither.
Dude,
Decades.
the best thing is if you go to Chick-fil-A and you get
They
the
taste like
tenders.
eggs.
Chick-fil-A's tenders are really good, really good.
I don't
But
think I've
going out
ever
to
had a
eat,
Chick-fil-A.
well, it's
And
good,
now they have
Jeff.
Cane's chicken fingers, which is the place. All they serve is chicken tenders, and
I
it's the
still, I still haven't had Cane's. I still haven't had it, and
oh, it's so good.
everybody I know is like, Mike, you like chicken?
It's the like largest the guy he's the wealthiest person in Louisiana. The guy that started it's a Louisiana chain.
I love
You wouldn't
Popeyes
believe
though,
how
Jeff.
this place is taken off.
I love Popeyes chicken. I love Popeyes.
Popeyes is good.
Yeah, but the problem is two things is wrong with Popeyes. I've noticed that the portions I've got much smaller. They're smaller portions for for more money. And when you go to Popeyes, it's just like ghetto land. It's just like
Oh, I
you're
was
lucky to
gonna
get.
say that's one of the complaints is they don't have the right workers in there. That it's losing that atmosphere. But you think it has too much of it. It depends on where you're going to. Because up here, I want a little bit of ghetto with my Popeyes, and I
Yeah,
walk in and it's the same Seattle service I get anywhere else. I'm like, where's the
well,
Popeye spirit?
it's great when if you come in anywhere and you have that older lady. Hey, baby, I
Hey,
love that.
baby, you want some
I
chicken?
love that. that's my mama.
Let me see what Mama got down here for you.
That's it. But then when you walk in and it's what you want, mother effer, it's like, oh god, here we go. And then so I walk into Popeyes right down the street on the Haven Parkway, right across from the Chick-fil-A. And it's like Popeyes is
That's
hell, and then
bold.
Chick-fil-A is like heaven. It's like, like you can see the difference in the way they run it. But I'm telling you this, I walk into Popeyes, right? I walk in to get something because the drive-thru was backed up. And then they do I guess they do the Uber Eats where, they call ahead and the food is sitting there in like a little window.
Oh yeah,
But I
you can
guess
have
the
it
guy,
delivered to your house now.
but the guy came in to pick up a big order, and it wasn't ready. And I guess him and the lady behind the counter, F you, like they had like almost like a drag out fight. And I'm
There's
just like,
probably YouTube fight. There's probably entire
yeah,
channels of like fast food fights on YouTube.
Jeff, people were getting K-worded over the chicken sandwich. People were fighting in the drive-thrus when they had the chicken sandwich came out. Look, Jeff, on your coffin, on your headstone, Jeff valiantly died for his Popeyes chicken sandwich. Like it's like what, But yeah, people were like fist fighting over that chicken sandwich. People were jumping in lines. It's food.
This is at a Tim Hortons. Isn't that Canada? Do they don't even have Tim Hortons here, do they?
I don't
Not
know.
lies. Look what I don't want to hear you say another word about the United States. This is at Tim Hortons. Look at that. Look at what your people are doing. That is a shameful way to run a country, sir. Does she even have her shirt on? Yeah, you would never convince me this is Canada. They're just standing there calmly watching. Just another day at the Tim Hortons. Okay, who's next?
That's it. That's it, man. It's the craziest thing ever. It really is the wildest thing ever. Oh, go ahead, guys. Give me 1 second. Get it, boy.
Oh yeah, I need to get some more coffee too. Let's see. Oh, I saw his last that he needs to come talk to me. He needs some mental health care. He is so talk about a doom scroller. I don't know where his algorithm's taken him, but he's one of the most black-pilled people on the internet. I couldn't even watch his latest video. It was so a doom laden. You talking about Rudyard?
Who are you talking about? Do I know the person?
What if alt hist Rudyard Lynch? He runs a history channel where he talks about history and politics, but he's so black-pilled. And it's getting worse.
Jeff, I don't know if you picked up on this. Like, I kind of switched gears. Like, I don't really go into too much of the negativity anymore because it kind of pulls me in and kind of gets on my nerves. I try to be more positive and have fun and laugh. And I'm more selective the more I go. But I've noticed a lot of other channels, we're not mentioning anybody, I'm saying, but a lot of other channels, they're just infighting and scratching and negativity and
yeah, like that Tim Hortons.
They're doxing each other. They're calling people's families. It's like, all I'm trying to say, guys, is that this is YouTube. It's not that serious. If you're not having a good time, click off, right? Jeff, just leave. Like, I'm not saying you or Dolos. I'm saying, but if you're not
then
having
they don't get that chemical rush that they come for. What would they click? They'd click off and sit around their house and do what?
I understand.
Read a book.
So are they a glutton for punishment? That they are looking for more and more abuse?
Yeah, I think there's a chemical incentive.
Yeah.
And I think there's a belonging. They get belonging. They get group bonding.
Yeah. It's
like
wild.
Gang mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, they have their little sides and stuff. And you have the Mavericks that come out, like the Maverick channel owners that will talk up against that stuff. And then they get lambasted. But
what's a Maverick channel owner?
A Maverick channel. What would you classify a Maverick as? Somebody who's going to basically go against the grain, fight the good fight? Would you say that? Or can a Maverick be someone who exposes hypocrisy? So I guess it could mean different things.
I don't know. In that case, I'm a Maverick channel.
Yeah.
Who are the Mavericks out there?
I would say off of hand, I would say you.
A person who shows independence of thought and action, especially by refusing to adhere to the policies of a group to which he or she belongs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I need to rebrand this channel as something to do with Mavericks.
You, Kane, I would probably say Leggy has his own mind. I'm trying to think of other people that speak, just say what they feel. And they don't go to the status quo. And that gets you in hot water sometimes, but you're still being you. And that's respectable to be you. There's a couple others. I can't think offhand right now. But there are people that do buck the system in a good way, not in a...
Oop. Oh, Dobez, you...
There, I saw it.
Oh,
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you got awfully quiet.
Did you hear how immediately the baby screams and he's gone?
Oh, I didn't hear a baby scream. I just heard him disappear. You
Yeah,
have a
yeah. I have
baby back there? Are you hiding a baby?
no, no. I have family over there in the other room.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Are you hiding a baby?
No,
It
no, no,
makes more sense. Like I would rather believe in that you, Mike, are hiding a baby than you just have
no,
family
no,
over.
no, no. It's not me.
That seems more
Yeah, I
likely.
wouldn't trust Mike with a baby
It's my
to
sister. It's
hide.
my sister. My sister's over. That's something. Yeah, yeah. She's visiting from North Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yep. But yeah, man. But it's some wild stuff. Some wild stuff.
Yeah, I heard. I honestly, I hardly go on any other channels at all. I could. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I'm in a bubble. I'm isolated here in my own little corner of YouTube. I'm very
yeah,
content. I'm in my little cul-de-sac. I don't know what's going on in any of the other hoods, and I think I'm happier
Yeah,
for it.
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
more me.
And
I'm
it's
good.
like I've noticed. I'm sorry to was cut you off. I've noticed that some of the other people are not obsessing over us as much as they were. Remember, they were like obsessing like constantly.
Yeah, I don't
And
get as many hate videos lately. Like every
yeah,
now and
yeah.
then, somebody will make a hate video here and there, but not every few days like they used to.
I think
Of course, now
because
that
I
I
think
said that, it'll probably
no,
I was
no.
tagged in a
motivate them to
hate video
start.
about you, Mike. Very
Huh?
funny. I was
What's
tagged
that
in
say again?
a video about you. Like it was
Okay.
something like
You
Mike
were?
Mike needs therapy at Dolbes.
Yeah.
Fix him or something.
Yeah.
What? I, whose
And
channel?
it's was that something like that?
Well,
And
how
then
did you end up in that?
I don't know. Who
because
knows?
I don't know,
Oh,
it doesn't come up when I'm searching up. I
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. It's like we have a really good time, and like I would troll in the past. I would troll people trolling me, but it's like the one thing is we have conversation. We have a fun time talking about different topics, but a lot of people want to pick on people, but they can never actually come up on a panel and have a conversation. They're not capable
yeah.
of that.
yeah, I've
It's
seen
all
that.
about yeah.
Because
It's all about
I've given a lot of those people a chance to have one.
yeah. Just be careful. Be careful because a lot of people and Jeff, I don't rat. I don't rat on people, but people will come up here and they are acting like they're cool with you and they're not. They're trashing you all over the place.
I see some of them in comments on other channels.
Yeah.
My eyes are in more places than people think. I see what's going on, and then
People
people send
hate
me stuff too.
people hate the fact that I don't trash you. Dude, I'm not pulling your leg or anything like that, but like I'll go to other channels in the past and they try to get me to like go against you and they know that we're friends on YouTube and I just don't do it and they get frustrated. They just get like the whole I don't mind saying this, like the whole banana thing. Banana would try to get me. I go to your channel, I go to his channel, right? But he would
Who
try to
does
get me to
but
go.
who takes bananas seriously? Like nobody
No, but
even.
you're right. But what I'm trying to say, Jeff, sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. What I'm trying to say is that he would try to get me to go negative on you, and I wouldn't do it, and it would get him frustrated. And that shows me I don't need to be there. I can be on another channel and not make fun of my friend, my other friend.
But he's just
I'm
doing it
not.
for content, really. I don't think
That's
he
it.
cares about anything.
Yeah. And so I put an end to that. I'm done with that. I'm not going to be utilized for anybody's content. So, yep. That's all. Anyway, yeah, man. We have came up the other night. I was outside. That was funny. I'm like sitting back in the bush.
Yeah, yeah, you were the that was cool actually. That was your place.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. Well, I was a couple houses down on a park bench. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. I was on a park bench. We have a
Yeah, that
little
was a
park.
cool background, and that house
Yeah,
behind the hedge
yeah.
It
it
was
looked like
awesome.
something out of a Stephen King movie.
And that was like the bush behind me. I was like, look, people in the bushes. And people always say they're in the bushes, talking about you in the bushes. But yeah, everything's
Yeah.
good, man. Yeah. Well, I guess you've learned your lesson today. So just don't do KFC fries. Just do,
No, but I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not. It's not going to keep me away from their chicken. The Colonel still
I just
does
think
have a little bit to offer. But
you
the
gotta,
price. Oh my God, the prices! It was 250 for one of those little. I thought it was going to be like a big, fluffy, crusty tender, like you get at
yeah,
Popeyes or something. It was a little flat chicken plank, barely coated in batter, and it had been
yeah,
sitting. It looked like it had been sitting out for a while. It was in a little plastic bag, but it tasted amazing. Like the taste was still there.
yeah. Yeah, man. We have they're hard to find, but you ever heard like gas station chicken, like those little country gas stations, those
That's what
fried
I need to
chicken?
do. Is check. I don't know if they'd
Oh,
be as good up here, but I still need to try them out. Like try a few gas station chickens.
we got a few, and
They
the
have a
chicken,
7-Eleven that has stuff like that.
yeah, so good. It's like the little Getty Marts, and they're usually Middle Eastern people. They're usually Middle Eastern,
Oh,
and
the
they'll make
Packy Marts.
yeah, and they'll fry the chicken and the tenders, and the only place I know of in Tidewater, it's a Miller's Mart. Miller's Mart. It's a big mart, like it's a gas station, big gas station where trucks can come in, and they have like the restaurant inside. Dude, they make the smoked turkey legs. So, like you get
Now I
like a
have to go
bush
check out the
Charlie's.
Marts. Hang on, I need to stroke out for a few seconds. Jeremy, for $10 eggs for like a big pack, like how a dozen?
No, 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 Jeff. I got 12 extra large eggs from Walmart. It was $6.50 for
Hey,
12 eggs.
bro, Jeff. I'm sorry for interrupting. Did you know that in StreamYard you have a Instagram filter basically? There's an option to just remove the blemishes of the skin, like using a
Hmm.
What in settings? Are
yeah,
you
the
saying I
Filters?
have
settings and
blemishes? Let me see.
camera, and then the touch up
No,
my
no,
appearance.
General.
dude. This is what I look like. Like I don't use filters, but like there was
You
a
can see the
couple
difference
people.
on my face, right?
Yeah, check this
Oh,
out.
the makeup
Why
filter.
does
Let me
it
see.
have that? Why
I
does
didn't
it
even know
have that?
you had blemishes.
We were.
So this is you with the makeup on, makeup filter.
That's now it's on.
Oh yeah, it looks
Very
Yeah.
boy
fake.
band and kind of phony.
What is that? One
I just
Direction?
turned mine
Like
on.
British
Let's see.
band?
And now it's normal.
Oh, I don't like it. It looks like I'm wearing makeup.
Yeah,
Dolbez, are
Turning
you
exactly.
the
it up.
missing?
It
Is
makes me
What is
Dolbez
it?
makes
the
me look
missing member
gay.
of Insane? You
Maybe
have
I am.
a
You know,
Oh,
So
I
18
I don't
eggs,
know.
that's what like that still seems high for 18 eggs. Weren't
It used to
eggs
be,
like a couple of bucks a carton, a dozen?
yeah, like
sorry
two
for
Two or
the
three
fifty,
dollars a
investigation.
like
dozen?
two
I need to
fifty,
check the
two
I
prices.
bucks.
remember growing up there was a grocery store that would advertise eggs for 99 cents, like a big
Hmm.
carton of eggs.
Yeah,
Good thing I don't eat
growing up,
eggs.
that was one of the biggest things growing up. Growing up, we always like I didn't like breakfast, but my mother would always because we got up early. Like we went to school, like the bus came at like 6 a.m.
Mm.
So like we would get up at like 5, and we'd always eat a big breakfast. And we always had eggs and pancakes, always, or French toast.
Your
French toast
mom
was
would
my
cook
favorite.
all that?
Yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
cook it. It's easy. Eggs and French toast. It's no big deal. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I love French toast. Love French toast. It's like my favorite. But not a lot of meat. We didn't really eat a lot of we didn't eat a lot of pork. Very little pork. It was more like protein
For
versus
egg
pork.
houses. Can you still
Yeah.
TP them? How much is toilet paper nowadays?
Toilet paper's cheap. It's not that expensive. You have to
That's
get
a
it
little
at the.
more affordable.
You get it at when you get toilet paper, Jeff. You usually go to Costco or Sam's Club, and you get the big 24 pack. And it lasts you. It's like half price if you went to buy it like at Walmart. That's one thing that we do. We do a lot. Like I don't drink tap water. I don't. Do you guys drink tap water? I only
No,
drink
that's all
spring
I
water.
drink.
Tap
I
water?
drink a lot.
Yeah,
I only drink tap water.
that's I only drink tap. I don't pay for water.
All I drink is spring water. I don't drink tap water. It's
Um,
such a difference.
what's the
Such a difference.
difference then? Like,
The flavor, the flavor is like night and day. It really
It tastes
is.
fun. We get our water out the swamp back home, so any tap water is outside of Louisiana is a step up from what I grew up on. So I
You know,
can
like a glass
tolerate
of
it.
water. You like got a glass of water and you're throwing the crawfish out of it before you take a drink. Mm.
Yeah.
well, okay. Apparently, yeah. Norwegian tap water is basically just spring water. Comes with the
Yeah.
territory of having a lot of mountains and glaciers and fjords.
Yes.
Either way, in big news, on the store close to me, there's 3 frozen pizzas for only $8. That's a deal I can't refuse.
Wait, what? Say that again. 3 pizzas?
Frozen, three frozen pizzas
What
from
brand? How
Leeds.
big?
Like okay, you'd probably like 400 grams. Wait, that doesn't help you at
That's
all.
not going to help me. I'm not a numbers guy. What
Okay,
what
imagine.
brand is it? One of the American brands?
No, 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 no. We don't have American.
Is that
Norway.
subsidized by the oil money?
No,
You
this is
get
actually
cheaper
genuinely
pizza.
one of our own big industries.
It
Frozen
would be
pizza is massive in Norway.
it would be three mediums. They'd probably be probably 12
I'm
inches.
trying to find it now.
Yeah,
Mediums. Yeah.
Um,
it's thin crust and like 400 grams, and it like two of them. That's a dinner. So a dinner and a
two
half.
pizzas.
A dinner, yeah, a dinner and a half for.
All right, let me see. Is it
It's well
Grandiosa?
worth it. So
Um,
it's not the best deal though. I've had even greater deals, but I need to take this one actually.
What is it? What is the place? Is that where you're from? Or no, it's German. Aldi. Aldi, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's German.
Is it, it's German. Yeah, yeah. We
this
go to
pizza.
Aldi all
This
the
is so
time.
funny.
Yeah,
He doesn't even look
Grandiosa.
like he likes it. It looks like he's being forced, like he's doing some kind of gross food challenge on Survivor or
Yeah,
Fear
Is that
Factor.
your flag? Dolbez, that's your
Grandiosa,
flag,
that's
right?
not the best one.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
the first one though.
I he's a Norwegian guy that kind of looks Italian,
Yeah.
trying to eat pizza. Like this is, I think this is meant to. Oh, Italian angrily Oh, I see, because he's an Italian that's skeptical
Yeah,
of
he's
this
Italian. Yeah,
Grandiosa
he's.
pizza.
Let me see him. Let me see his face.
I knew that was why you leaned forward, Mike.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get
he's
it.
Nobly Don. He's Nobly
Plus,
Don.
he's drunk. Look,
He's from
Yeah,
Naples. He's from Naples. That's where he's from. He's Nobly Don.
yeah,
he's like, this is. But our
Yeah.
American frozen pizza, I hate to say, looks the same way.
yeah. Well, Grandiosa is not the best. It's sort
Yeah.
of the only reason they're big is because they were first. They were the first to popularize frozen pizza in Norway, and Norwegians
Mhm.
are actually the biggest frozen pizza consumers per capita. We consume more frozen pizza than like Italy, which makes sense. But you
Not
get what
more
I mean.
than me.
Yes.
There's there's a pizza called Better Goods. You ever see Better Goods pizza? They sell them in Walmart. It's called Better Goods. They're actually made in Italy. They're
Is that
frozen,
the
but they're made
Walmart
in Italy.
brand?
We
Yes.
don't
No,
have
no,
Walmart
it's
here.
Better Goods is their own brand. Look up Better
Because they
Goods
don't have
pizza.
that at my grocery store.
They're made in
Oh, it
Italy, but they're
actually does look
frozen.
good. It's
Yeah,
probably something that you can only get at Walmart. Like they contract with
they're
just that
good.
Yes,
brand.
that's good.
And
It's
then there's another pizza called Screamin' Sicilian.
Yeah, I get those
Um,
all the time. They
yeah,
you should search
it's
yeah,
funny
search
this
because
Better
Big
Goods
One
does look good.
Pizza.
yeah,
That's the meat pizzas. Big
a
One
beats,
Pizza.
a beats. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
have a
they're
Beats, you have New
really
Haven
good.
style. Yeah, you have all different. And then of course the margarita is the famous pizza that was invented at all, which is from which is from Naples. Pizza comes from Naples, Naples, Italy.
Yeah, it depends on the flavor you get. They seem to be more fresh. They're not as like factory processed. It seems like as like your DiGiorno's and your Red Barons. Um, they have like a little more home style to them. They're okay. I like the sauce. California Pizza Kitchen is pretty good too, even though that's a
Mm.
DiGiorno product now.
Yeah, the California that had that really good the barbecue chicken pizza from California Pizza Kitchen, the barbecue chicken pizza. You guys ever get the Boboli? Remember the Boboli shell when you put
Oh
the sauce
yeah,
on it
I've
and
had that
cheese?
like once because that's the one you have to put together yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is anything that involves extra work is usually gonna extra kitchen work is usually gonna shut me out.
But
But I remember that they were okay though. They made them look way better in the commercial than they actually turned out to be in your mouth.
we made them. We chefed them up. We got the Boboli shells, and we got the real fresh mozzarella, the buffalo mozzarella, the shredded one, and a little bit of Parmesan on top. And then you got to use the really high end sauce. So you could make your own pizza. But I actually have in the refrigerator right now. I actually have a pizza dough. So I cheat. I don't make the dough myself. I buy them from Walmart, and I put the cornmeal on them, and I knead them, and I make pizzas myself. I love
They
pizza.
used to have my mom used to buy them for the kids because we would make them ourselves. But they used to have this
Yeah.
pizza dough in a biscuit can that you would roll out. It was square, and you roll it onto like a square baking sheet, and then they had jars of pizza sauce, and we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
provolone cheese we would top it with, and we could put different toppings on it. And so they were so easy to make. Anytime we wanted a pizza, we could just go grab one of these pizza dough biscuit can things and pop it open and make a pizza for ourselves.
We would get the crescent rolls and we'd roll them out and make pizza from the flaky dough.
They
Jeff,
have a DiGiorno has a croissant crust now that they came out with.
yeah,
I had it the
that's
other
what I'm
day.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now this is before Dolbez's time, but Jeff, you remember the Easy Bake Oven? You remember?
Oh God, yes, I have. I've told my Easy Bake story on here before. It caused quite a rift in the family one year for Christmas. 'Cause-
Dolbez, it was a little oven you'd get as a kid that you could bake like little cakes and stuff
yeah, and it had
using
a
a
light
light.
bulb.
It was a
That's what
light.
would heat it, and
You
and it
cooked
had
with a
these little
light
cake
bulb.
mixes, and you could make cakes and stuff. And me and my stepbrother put it in our Christmas list one year because it was in the
Yeah.
catalog, and they had a girl and a boy both playing with it. So we thought it looked fun, and we put it in our
How
Christmas. And
about
my
this?
stepdad freaked out because his stepson asked for an easy bake oven, and he's like, "No son of mine is gonna
I
have an
love it.
easy bake oven." And so they ended up like getting separate gifts for their kids that year. Like
Yeah.
my mom's like, "Well, I'm still buying Jeff the oven," and he's like, "Well, my son is not getting the oven. We're just gonna do separate Christmas gifts this year." And he made 10 times more money than my mom. So
So,
my siblings got all these fancy gifts. They got bikes and Hot Wheels and all kind of stuff. And we got whatever my mom could afford. And he tried to ruin Christmas that way, and none of it
Jeff,
worked.
Jeff wants an Easy Bake Oven. He got like a freaking drill, like a drill bit.
I did.
It's
I
like,
got my oven, and actually, what I found out was it was a lot of work. You had to mix the stuff together and
yeah.
put it into little pan. It wasn't. I used it. I played with it for probably 2 days. I was
So two
done.
things.
And you had
Two
to keep
things.
ordering the mix. It only gave you like a starter set of mix.
I want to say it was Duncan Hines. I think Duncan Hines had the hookup with the mix, like the little pouches. You had to put it in the little pouches and put water in it and mix them up. And you know what? And the cakes always tasted like shit anyway. It just tastes horrible. But Jeff, do you remember the Snoopy snow cone machine?
I had one where it would like come out of his stomach or the little house. Yes.
The
I
little
had one,
house.
and you'd stick ice cubes in it, and you'd twirl it around, and it would shave the ice into snow cones.
And it would
But
come
our
out with a
next door
blue.
neighbors had an
Yeah.
actual snow cone machine that they would sell snow cones out
Yeah.
of, so it was easier to just go get one from them than try to make it with Snoopy.
Dude, when I got the snow, I was like, one of the things I said I want a Snoopy because I was really into Peanuts. I loved like Charlie Brown and stuff like that. And yeah, I got the Snoopy snow cone machine. Remember the red
Sure
roof and the
enough.
little hole on top where the bird came out, and that's where the ice came out. You pour the stuff in top, and it would come out. And dude, it was the coolest thing ever. And it's like these are stuff like this is bygone era.
Yeah,
This is
this
like
is
the
what we got
sequel.
to play with growing up. Look at this.
Look,
Look,
look, how
look.
cool is
It
it? How
comes.
cool is that?
You spin it around and it shaves the ice, and you could put in and it gave you this stuff to make the snow cone mix with too.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I showing my youth when I say that I don't really know who or what Snoopy is at all? Like I've
Snow cone?
seen that guy, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Who, Snoopy?
You know who
Yeah,
Snoopy is?
yeah. I have no idea what that is.
Peanuts? Charlie Brown?
No idea.
It's a
Hmm.
comic strip, Charles Schultz, and it's about Snoopy, and this is Lucy. And Lucy was always like trying to get him to kick the football, and then at the
Yeah,
last minute she would pull it away. And so Lucy and the football is like a phrase for somebody that keeps like pranking you over and over and over and
yeah.
gaslighting you. And
Then you had
Vince Giraldi did the music. It was also a cartoon that would come on TV, and he's real famous for the Peanuts theme song too. And this is
and you
Woodstock,
had
his little bird friend.
Woodstock would fly around and he would sleep on top of the house, and then you had Peppermint Patty. And remember the teacher? Womp, 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 womp.
Oh
The
yeah, and the
teacher's
teacher would talk.
yeah.
She was like this voice at the head of the class, and she would just talk like nonsense, and they just show her sound waves like wah 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 wah. And so people use that
Yeah.
kind of as an idiom too. Like it's like Snoopy's teacher.
Dude, see, he's so green to this
He's
Snoopy.
not from he's Norwegian. They don't have
No, it's
Norwegian
cool.
Snoopy.
They had like a pickled herring that they would worship, like some kind of like no. And then we had Gumby, then we had Captain Kangaroo. We had
I
like
remember the Captain. We didn't have Sesame Street growing up where I lived. We only had Captain Kangaroos. That was the only children's show I had growing up. And they had the
wasn't it
picture
Casey?
pages with Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah, and remember Reading Rainbow with LeVar
LeVar
Burton?
Burton.
Yeah, Reading
Are the
Rainbow.
Smurfs from Norway?
I don't know if they are from Sweden or Belgium, but one of those two.
Oh, they're not.
Misfits.
Figures they're not American. They were communist. Hey, James,
didn't-
what's up?
Hello. Nothing much. Just trying to find some.
James, you're live.
Okay,
with
yeah, it's
Snoopy Dog.
Belgium. It's
Yeah.
Belgium. So I remember that correctly at least. It's Belgium.
Well, is it true that Belgium is supposed to have the best chocolate in the world?
No, Norway has.
Norway?
Ask any European nation, and they say they have a Germanic nation, and they say they have the best chocolate. But everyone agrees that America is trash. That's the only agreement. Ours is best, but America
We
is
got Hershey. I thought
Yeah.
French
Well,
chocolate was the
I
best.
mean, Italian chocolate's pretty good too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
good
That's
chocolate.
what they say. They say
Yeah.
Italian. The Swiss say Swiss. The Belgians.
Yeah.
they
I
say
heard it
Belgian.
was the
I
South
say
American.
Norwegian. But
James,
Let
what
me
do,
ask
what
you
do you
this.
think the best chocolate is?
Hershey.
Hershey.
Hershey's.
Uh,
That's a cool. Hey, listen, that's a really cool place. If you ever go to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, that's a really cool place. They have a whole theme park and everything where they make the chocolate up in. I think it's Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I think it's Lancaster.
but then again, German chocolate is pretty good too.
Yeah. Yo,
I'm
so you remember
German.
James? You ever see the chocolat? Dobes, the chocolat, the World War II German chocolate that had so much caffeine in it would get the guys jacked up.
Yeah.
You ever heard about that? Chocolat.
No, I ain't heard about that. No.
I love how you just say the German word.
Chocolate.
As
Chocolate.
it's an
And it
exotic
was-
thing. It's, chocolade.
Yeah, I'm Sicilian, man. So we were down with we were Germans allies, unfortunately. But no, but it's chocolate. It's chocolate in a circular can, and it was chocolate, but it had so much caffeine in it, like a couple cups of coffee in each bite. And it would keep the soldiers going. It would keep them going. And they would ration it to the soldiers.
They realized that
Okay.
giving them amphetamines that wasn't too smart for a long-term war. But it worked in the Ardennes. It worked in France. But
Well,
Dolbas, they were
Germany
giving
was
them-
all
they were giving
fucked up.
Yeah, they were giving them early meth, right? Early meth in the
Yeah, I
trenches.
so they didn't. Well, not in the trenches. In the okay. So the thing, Germany had a problem. They needed speed because the main French divisions they were in Mantua, and they were also in the north of Belgium. And Germany wanted to break through the Ardennes, which is a tiny strip of really dense forests.
Yep.
And they know they can break through with their tanks, but if the infantry aren't fast enough to follow, they die. The tanks die, and so the war is lost. However,
Yeah, because they didn't have
not go
mechanized
slow,
infantry
because then the
yet.
French troops can come in and block, and so they have to have a way for the infantry to be able to keep up with the tanks. And the solution: don't sleep. Give them amphetamines so they don't have to sleep. And then they push through. They go up to Dunkirk, and then they rest for like a day or two, and then they attack Dunkirk, which allowed the British to rescue some 100,000 troops. However, the Germans couldn't really have done anything because their troops were full of meth. They were already addled. But it worked. They didn't need to sleep, and they could move fast alongside the tanks for that little moment when it mattered. But in a long-term war, it's idiotic. You would destroy your own troops. But for that brief moment, when all that mattered was that the infantry could keep up with the tanks, it functioned perfectly.
But it didn't. But it didn't work out in the long run because they
exactly.
still lost the war.
Remember back then, back then, if you weren't an officer, you were expendable. In other words, you were just a throwaway soldier back then.
You're still expendable.
They should have
Yes.
put more into mechanized research, and they could have actually got further. They mechanized their infantry a lot better.
Yeah, but they
Well,
don't
the
have
problem
the
is
history to sustain that. They don't have the oil.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I guess, in World War II was that Germany had the superior military. They had the superior firepower. They had the superior engineering,
Only
scientists,
per
everything.
capita. Remember, it's
Yes.
very important to remember. Only per soldier, because the
But-
Brits were about equal in industry, and with the whole colonial empire,
But
they
he
were
could have
equal.
had the
The
oil.
Soviets again,
I think-
a bit less leaning on equal, and the Americans were like triple or even
Yeah.
quadruple. And so even if per soldier and per unit of work the Germans were better, they just, one Tiger can take out 10 Shermans, but Americans have 10 more.
Did you see the
Yeah,
movie
but-
Fury? Dolbez, the movie Fury.
Yeah, I've seen
I've
it.
seen it.
I've never
What
heard
a
of it.
great movie! Oh my
That is a
gosh,
great movie.
great movie. I think the
Looking it
best
up now.
person in that movie, I think, was Shia LaBeouf. I think he played the best role in that movie. He was amazing. Very underrated actor. With Brad Pitt and LaBeouf and a couple other guys. John Berthal, he's another famous actor. And it's about World War II tank divisions fighting the Nazis. And it's pretty graphic, man. It's graphic. The way that they lived in those tanks. It was just like subhuman how they lived.
I think the
Yeah,
best World War
peeing
II
and
movie, though,
everything, yeah.
that's the
Exactly.
Russian-produced Come and See Me. It's basically just a horror story of a Russian
Yeah.
kid losing his family to Germans, getting burnt, and escaping and surviving in the forests and meeting up and enlisting in the militia, demolishing trains. It is chilling. There's only one sort of movie that has shook me more, and that was the All Quiet on the Western Front, specifically the new version that Netflix had
I've
a
seen
few days ago. A few years ago.
Another wicked movie is 1917. That's another wicked movie.
Agreed,
World War
agreed.
One. That's a wicked movie,
Yep.
man. You know.
It is. Yep, I've seen that one.
You
I've seen a lot of war pictures.
And then see now, me being, I've always been a war buff. I've always been a war junkie. I love military history. And when I moved here, I moved from New York. I moved to Virginia. Virginia has a really, really, really large history in World War.
Oh, we do. We do.
In World Wars, but the Revolutionary War and the Civil War are so thick in Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's so much history. Remember, the first colony was Jamestown in 1607, I think it was. The English, and that's right outside.
Yeah.
That's like an hour from where I live, and I went to the battlegrounds and everything. You know.
Yep, that ain't too far from where you live. Yep.
Yeah, Civil War. The Civil War was fought right here in Virginia and North Carolina, like I said, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, going back up that way. But the Confederate capital was in Richmond, Virginia, less than an hour from where I live. The Confederate White House still stands. You can do tours of it, where the Confederate president lived in his family. It's right outside VCU Hospital, Virginia Commonwealth University Hospital.
I didn't realize it was still there.
It's still there. You can take tours. Yep.
I've been to Richmond, and I didn't know it.
Yeah. It's the Confederate White House where Jefferson Davis and his family lived during the Civil War. It was their White House, and it's white, and it looks like the White House. And it's all preserved and everything. Yeah, it's right next to the VCU campus, right outside the medical center. It's amazing, man, the history. And then me and Jeff were talking about this, I think, a week or two ago. Them ripping all the statues down, you know, and changing the names of schools, even though it's a tarnish on some people's outlook. It's still history, and I think history should be left alone. Good or bad, history is history. If it's not there, we're never going to learn from it. Is that correct? We're never going to learn to be better if we don't know what ever happened.
And then if you don't learn from it, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's a slippery slope because you know there was a lot of evils done, but shoot, there's evils done every single day. I just don't think we should erase history just because it doesn't fit someone's status quo. History is history.
Should we have a statue of Hitler? Like if Germany wanted to.
If they wanted to have one, that's on them. That's on them.
As long as they're not trying to do what he did. I don't have a problem with it because we need to know that he was there.
I mean,
But let's say this. I call him Mustache Man. Okay, I call him Mustache Man because I don't want to say, I don't even invoke his name. One of the most evil people to ever walk the earth. Should there be a statue of him in my heart of hearts? No. But the Confederacy fought a legitimate war, Americans versus Americans, and they fought a war. It wasn't just some guy going around K-wording people that were innocent.
Right.
It's a completely different paradigm. That's it's just like saying, "Hey, should we have a statue of John Wayne Gacy?" No, because that's a mass murderer who K-worded people for no reason. You know, Mustache Man was a horrible piece of garbage. Who's, no, there shouldn't be. But I mean, it's on them. It's not my place to say it. But I wouldn't want it here. So you have to be
is
careful
it
with your
funny
speech because
that
people
I
like
now
to
feel an
turn.
obligation to defend Hitler?
Yeah,
But
My
Yeah.
Hitler
devil's
was also
advocate
a war
instincts are firing
yeah,
off
yeah.
that,
But Dolbez, people like to take what you say and try to turn it. Not you guys, but I'm saying to turn what you say. All I'm saying is that no, he doesn't deserve it. But it's not my place to say if he has one in his own country. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not German. It has nothing to do
well,
with me.
my thoughts were initially
Yeah.
that I don't think the Confederates are that behind Hitler, at least to a certain extent. I think it's very clear who had the right of it during the Civil War,
Mhm.
both on states' rights. It's a federation, not a confederation. I know that the Confederacy wanted, but the legal side, it is a federation. You can't secede, and of course,
Mhm.
slavery. The moral standpoint, they are the correct side.
Yeah.
Well, American politics was different back then. It wasn't exactly as same as
I know,
today's politics.
but I'm judging from my perspective,
Sure.
as I do everything. And
But
I
they
don't, I
did.
don't
They
know
did
if it's
fight.
really
They did fight a traditional war, and
yeah,
then of
Germany did
course
so too.
the Union won. The Union won, and God bless the Union. I'm a Yankee. If I had to fight, I would have fought for the Union. Of course, I would not fight for the Confederacy because I didn't believe in what they were doing. I didn't. That's the way I was born and raised. But once again, all I'm trying to say is, in retrospect, let the history be history. Don't try to erase the history. Acknowledge it and learn from it. That's all I was trying to say. That makes sense, gentlemen.
Yeah.
and I kind of want to go back to the whole. Hitler could have got the oil though, as far as World War II, because if he focused on the carcasses, he could have got it, but he turned his eye to Stalingrad, and that's
Mhm.
where his biggest bluff
He didn't have the
was.
logistical capacity to reach that far
Well,
and transport oil back. And if they got close, the
mhm.
Russians would just sabotage the oil, like as they'd done with every other area, scorched earth. And now you
Scorched
have a
earth,
million German
yeah.
troops trapped in the
Maybe,
Caucasus, no oil, no
maybe,
logistics.
maybe.
Germany was doomed to stalemate. I'm not saying they were doomed to lose, but they were at least doomed to a stalemate. They could never have actually achieved victory over the Soviet Union because Russia is so vast and the
Mhm.
logistical capacity of Germany is so small. But the Soviet Union, without British and American aid, they couldn't have won, but they could have secured a
Mhm.
stalemate in like probably a line before Moscow. So like there could have been a stalemate that Germany could have achieved, but they could not have taken out Britain. So it might have been a sort of Napoleon scenario where Britain is at constant war for 30 years, funding rebellions and enemies on the entire continent, bankrupting themselves to defeat
Mhm.
Germany. Or they can just take the peace, which is very unlikely. But, as long as America stays out and Britain doesn't send much support to Russia, then Germany can achieve a stalemate. The moment any of those two happens, Germany
Mhm.
it's doomed basically, unless
Mhm.
you want to change too much. Like,
Do you
yeah,
see? Do you guys see the progression? This is off topic. It's in topic with war and building up. But do you see the push that Japan is doing to their military? They are
Mm.
they are on overdrive, on super
yeah,
turbo to build their military now. And now they're not a military; they're a defense force. We have to say clarity: they're a defense force. They're a military, but not a military.
yeah.
But there
Uh,
is talk. There is talk, possibly allegedly, that Trump may reverse. the ban on them having nuclear weapons. If Japan comes nuclear, they will be our best ally against China, against North Korea. They'll be the thorn in their side. You know, so it's an interesting paradigm because, of course, after World War II, they can only have a defense force. Like you said, we're talking in circles, but they've built, so their military is amazing. It's an amazing military. Oh, I'm sorry, defense force. My bad. But
Very
you know,
much
yeah,
like
there's
a special operation in Ukraine. It isn't a war; it's a special
yeah,
operation. Very important. These little world plays.
I'm telling you, and the Japanese are no joke. They fight, man. They fight.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
fight to the death. What are you talking about?
yeah.
The kamikazes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You know that it's the honor. You know, the honor in dying for your cause. That's the samurai code. That's one thing. I have a book right over about samurai. You know, and if you read Sun Tzu or you read samurai books, they have a code. You know, and it's just the samurai code. You know, dying selflessly for your cause. It's very romantic. You know, and these are men that would give their lives for the purpose
Don't
of.
the Muslims have that too?
Um,
Most ancient cultures have a
It's a.
it's different.
have
It's
a
really different.
yeah. It's called the
They,
Bushido code, though. That's the
yeah,
Like
specific
there's
term for
glory in martyrdom.
Japanese samurai culture. Bushido code.
yeah, man. With the samurai, you know, with I guess with the other religion we're talking about, you know, they call it what, jihad, and they'll take as many people with them as possible. The samurai basically, if he is defeated, then he takes his own self. He's not, you know, he takes himself, you know, and then they bow, and then another samurai would take their head. You know, it's an honorable death, right, Dolbez? They call it an honorable death. But yeah, I mean, but that stuff really did happen. We have the Chrysler Museum of Art here in Norfolk, and they actually have real samurai, the armor and the swords, and even watching the armor, like seeing the armor posted, that stuff is, imagine seeing that thing coming at you with a sword. It's terrifying. Samurai were terrifying. They were, you know.
I see we have a few Japan haters in the chat. Shitoism, bullshido.
Shintoism? Yeah, tell that to a samurai, see what happens. Off with your head.
There
Um,
aren't any samurais left to tell, you know? Total American
yeah.
cultural victory.
Yeah, the Shinto, you know, yeah, the Shintoism is something different. But like I said, they're not the most godly people. What do they believe in? What is it, like nature
A
or something? I
modified
don't know.
version of Buddhism with
Well, why don't we
incorporated
Google?
Japanese mythology. Like Shintoism is a merge of Buddhism and Japanese mythology.
It's a religion originating in Japan. It's Japan's indigenous religion and a nature religion.
Mm-hmm. It's nature, right? It's like more naturefold. Yeah.
Well,
There
every
is no
like-
central authority in control of it. It has much diversity of belief and practice.
They pray to like granola and trees or something like that.
It's polytheistic and animistic, and it revolves around supernatural entities called the kami that are believed to inhabit all things, including the forces of nature and
What's that
prominent
forest?
landscape locations. Wow, it sounds kind of cool.
What's that forest in Japan where everybody goes to K-word themselves? It's like a forest. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the
Oh,
one
like
where Logan
the
Paul
suicide forest?
Yeah.
Oh no. Suicide. Why can I never say the name?
Yeah. It's like
Oh,
Good
wait,
bird.
It's well, I can't pronounce it.
Aoki-
It's Akogahara, the Sea of Trees.
Aokigahara.
It's on Mount Fuji.
Aokigahara. There we have it. Aokigahara.
Sweet.
Exactly. You have to speak it like that.
My son, my two sons and my daughter, my one daughter, my second daughter, they went to Japan twice. They went once and they went 2 years later, and they did the traveling by train, and it's like their little getaway. And I remember them saying the people were the nicest people, like just the nicest, most welcoming people, you know, and the food. And they went to Cat Island. They went to the one part, I think it's Osaka, where the deer, they run free. The deer just come up to you and you feed them. There's like deer running around. And they went up to the mountains and they went to a couple of the temples. Japan is something very special. It's my son said he felt like he was in a different world. Like it was just different.
Was.
Yeah,
This is
completely
Japan.
different.
I want to go over there to Japan and see what it's like. It
It's
sounds
expensive.
Have you
It's
traveled
expensive.
anywhere?
outside the U.S. No,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, me
never?
neither.
never outside
Oh,
the U.S. I've traveled only within the confines of the U.S.
get
There's
out
so
of
much to
here. Yeah,
already see in the U.S.
Mr.
I've been
B.
out. Yeah. Yes, no mercy.
I've
Yep.
been to quite
Sun
a few
Tzu,
states
New
within
War.
the
Sun Tzu, if you like to military strategy and stuff like Sun Tzu is one of the best books you can read.
Is he related to Shih Tzu,
He might be.
the
He
guy
might be
that
a little
made the dogs?
little scruffy dog that pisses on your leg. Could be.
The only time,
James, what? Catch us up with you. Do you have any cool things coming up?
probably nothing much this week except for the gaming.
Oh, did you ever
On
do
the
your debate
weekend.
with iFi?
You mean my interview? It wasn't a debate.
Oh, what? Yeah, whatever. It turns out
Well,
to be with him.
we got to never do the interview because we both fell sick and we're having to reschedule it.
Was it his voice? The poor thing could never talk. Every time he showed up on streams, he was sick and losing his voice. Except that didn't stop him from talking from 10 to 12 hours a day on the panels for
Who's
years.
that? Bert? Who? Berto?
iFi.
James,
He's
James. Are you in Appalachia?
Yeah, I'm in Appalachia. Yeah, Appalachia.
Okay. Yeah, Kane's in Appalachia too as well. Kane's up in the mountains.
Yeah, he's somewhere
Yeah.
in Virginia, I think. Is where he's
Yeah,
at.
we're all in Virginia. Me, you, and him are in Virginia.
Y'all should start a group, like do a chapter.
Well, they're up in the country. They're up in the country, Jeff. I'm down in the city. I'm a city boy. Ting.
Oh.
I'm in Virginia Beach. So I'm like, but they're up in the mountains. They're way up in
I
the
love
mountains.
Appalachia.
So we
I
go
didn't
to. So
know Kane was so close to me.
my son goes to Appalachia and he hunts. He hunts and up there. Him and his friends go up and they hunt up in Appalachia. Yeah, really good hunting up there. We hunt, Jeff. In Virginia, we hunt. We hunt a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of hunting that happens in Virginia.
Yeah, I love it.
What do y'all
I'm not
hunt?
much of a hunter.
Pheasant?
You can hunt pheasant. Usually you want to try to get a deer. If you can get a deer, amazing.
Save me the antlers.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the ultimate prize is to get a deer, to get a buck. You know, if you can get one, amazing. If not, you can get pheasant, or you can go fishing up there. You can go fishing up in the mountains. You can do all kinds of stuff. James, where you're at, do you have any mountain lions?
I don't know.
You have bears, huh? Black bear, brown bears, black
Yeah.
bears.
The bears,
We
the
got
bears,
bears, yeah.
the bears aren't that bad. Like usually they'll stay away from you. They're just looking for food. You know, if you make enough noise. But like the cats, you have to be careful with the cats, the mountain lions, stuff like that, man, because they'll stalk you. They'll stalk your camp and stuff. You got to be real careful.
The bears will come down here sometimes into the valley because I'm in the valley part over here.
Yeah.
But they'll
You're down
come
in the middle?
here sometimes.
Yeah, you're down in the crevice in the middle, right?
Well, I guess you could call it the.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so close to the mountains though, because the mountains are just
Mhm.
right over there. It's like it's not
Yeah.
like that far away.
You're in the
I'm
break.
like
I
on
know
the
what you're talking about.
edge,
Yeah,
sort of.
you're in the break. Yeah, it's cool, man. And then my brother-in-law got me into bow hunting. He does the bow hunting, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. It's it's silent. You know, using a bow. The only thing with the bow hunting is that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got family that uses bows to hunt.
Yeah. The only thing with bow hunting is that if you bow hunt, guys, you have to track the animal because if you hit the animal, it's not going to pass right away. So you have to track it. Sometimes you have to track it into the mountains to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you track it by following the blood.
Yep, you got it, man. And if you have a dog with you, then the dog will find it. But if not, you got to try to find it. You got to go in there and try to find it and drag it out. That's why
I think
usually
a lot of my family uses dogs.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, Jeff, Jeff, you've never been hunting, have you?
When I was little, they took me hunting. I hated it. I fell
Yeah.
asleep in the duck blind. It was so boring. Same
Dolbez, do
with
they hunt up
fishing.
where you're at? Dolbez, do
Oh,
they
they
hunt
hunt
where you're at?
a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
we hunt a lot. I don't though, because I'm from a bourgeois urban family history. No rural hunter folk in
Wow.
my line.
So Dolbez, if you're hunting, if and you have the gun, you're hunting. Is your pinky out when you're shooting? It's like your pinky's out. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
They hunt
maybe.
here too in
I
Washington State.
have
I
a
think it's
pink
legal at
bow.
least. I
That's
don't know
what I
if they
have.
do it.
Painted it
yeah.
pink, you know.
Jeff, Washington up in the mountains has some of the best hunting, and then fishing. You can fish.
Yeah, they do fish up here. I know that.
Yeah, the fishing is people travel all around to go fish in those up in those areas. Yeah, man. There's a movie called. You ever see the movie called The Hunted? The Hunted. It's with Benicio del Toro and
Oh, I like him.
God, what is the other guy? Famous actor. He was in The Fugitive. I can't think of his name offhand. Famous actor. But it's set in Washington State, up in the mountains, and they show
Oh,
all the wilderness.
oh, it's directed by William Friedkin. He did The Exorcist. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, and Del Toro, and but it's all set in like all of that, that beautiful landscape up in Washington State.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, you got it. And then my buddy is in he was in the military. He was in the Navy, so he was stationed in Norfolk. I've known him for years because he was down here in Norfolk for years. I met him just through mutual friends. And then he's from Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and he ended up going back. And he'll FaceTime me. And he'll show me like the mountains and stuff. Like Oregon is gorgeous, man. You go up into the mountains, all the wildlife. Those places are going away, man. The true beautiful nature. So yeah, hopefully I can get away and get into the wilderness again. I'll be right back, guys. Use the restroom.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. I think I should go soon too, but if there's one last topic or something, I'd rather I could stay. I don't have school tomorrow.
Well,
so
I'm gonna I need to wrap up in about 15 minutes because I have another appointment at the
nice.
top of
Then
the
I'll
hour.
wrap up with you.
So I don't know. There can be a topic. Do we have one for the last? James, what's going on in your world? Do you have anything you've been thinking about or talking about lately?
I've been thinking a lot about the Bible and where I'm going with that. Because I'm not changed my mind about some things came up with the orthodoxy. I don't think I'm pursuing orthodoxy no more.
Oh, what
'Cause I find out some things, and it's just also how the Orthodox bros act on here. It's kind of
But
like
I've heard that the online Orthodox is not the same as the in-person churches. There's a little ortho cult online
it's
that
definitely not the same.
But do
that
you
it's
did
it's
you
its own thing.
did you believe in the or do you believe in the filioque? Does the how is it? Does the Holy Spirit come from God alone or God and Jesus? Like that's the main distinction, like theologically, between the Catholics and the Orthodox.
Well, I mean, that's clear in the Bible that it comes from God alone. I mean,
Then that would be
Up, up,
more
up,
on
up,
the
up, up.
Orthodox side. The Catholics, most Protestants, they follow the belief that the Holy Spirit proceeds from both God and Jesus. I think. Yeah, pretty sure that is the
Benediction.
thing.
well, I'm
You're
not. I'm not
absolved.
sure.
Are
I'm
you
not sure
outside?
Lutherans
Are you
believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
are you
pretty
See
peeing
sure
the
out?
they
Are you
do.
middle?
going to the bathroom outside?
You see the
Pretty sure
middle?
they do.
That's a full moon. The moon's full. It's the full moon in
Wait,
the
that
middle.
thing in wow.
That's the moon.
That's the oh my god, it looks like a street light.
Hold on, I don't know if I can.
Maybe it's
Well,
How
it's
do I
got some
reverse
street
this?
lights probably there.
Yeah, hold on.
man,
Yeah,
don't get jumped.
most Western
Yeah,
Christians they
that's the moon.
believe in the
That thing
middle.
right above your head.
The one in the middle. That's the
Yeah.
moon.
It looks like
Okay.
That's
Close
the
Encounters of the Third Kind. It looks
yeah.
like stadium lights or something, except one of them's the moon. Wow.
That's a street light. That's a street light to the bottom left, and to the right is an emergency light, and the middle is the moon. Yeah, it's the moon. Blue moon, up and up and up. Blue moon, blue, blue, blue. I love the moon. Yeah, so there's werewolves out tonight. Dolbez is going to turn into a vampire. He's going to bite you, so be careful.
The Panoverse should be hopping. Mr. B, you're ditching us for flat earthers?
No,
How rude. How
So James,
shameful.
it's good though.
James
Fighting a
likes
good fight.
James likes talking about theology, like theories in like religion, and
Well, they
it's
were,
a fair thing.
Dobez was asking him about the Holy Spirit, if it's a combination of God and
If you look,
Jesus or just
does it
God.
proceed from God alone or God and Jesus? Because Catholics believe it proceeds from God and Jesus. Most Protestants believe it proceeds from God and Jesus. And then the
Mhm.
Orthodox and some Protestant faiths, they say it only proceeds from God. So where do you stand?
Me?
Only from God, according to the Bible. I mean,
Okay.
Well, then
And
why
you,
do
Mike?
some people think otherwise?
I don't know. I guess because they're trying to say that verse wasn't originally there. Maybe I don't know. Not
Sure.
exactly.
Wasn't it the Pentecost when they all went in that little room and the flames descended on their head?
Mm.
Well, it wasn't that they went. I would say they went into a room. I don't know if it's a little room because there's a lot of them there, and then the Holy Spirit proceeded
Mm.
to come down to them, and then they
Yeah.
all spoke in tongues, and they could understand each other. And that
Mm.
was Acts chapter 2.
Yeah, Acts 2.
Um,
Let's see. I'm looking at
Now,
now.
do you think? Yeah. Um, I think we overly complicate religion. I think we make religion way more complicated than it has to be. I think that we have our beliefs and we believe in what we feel is in our hearts. And I just think religion is much more simple than we make it out to be. We overcomplicate it. It's hard to keep talking in a circle, but it's good to second guess it.
But
But
like, isn't everyone going to have something different in their heart?
Yeah.
yeah,
And I will
and
add, I think the complexity is one of the best things about Christianity. The fact that it's so scholarly about its theology is to its benefit. I mean, that's one of the big distinctions. Like that's what in my
and I
view
think
makes Christianity so special.
And I think also that your life experiences changes your view on what you precipitate it being. In other words, if you had a hard life, or if you've been through abuse, or whatever. I mean, I think that it your mind kind of changes when it comes to Christianity and what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Like what I'm trying to say is that you can have this conversation till kingdom come. All I know is I believe there's something stronger than me that's guiding me through life. That's what I believe. And I believe that this man called Jesus Christ passed away for my sins. That's what I choose to believe. That's what I feel in my heart. Now, if someone else feels differently, I'm not going to lambaste them. I'm not going to put them down. That's their belief. I think that we need to get back to respecting each other's beliefs.
That's
And
religious tolerance, and that's
yeah.
one of the principles of modern
Mhm.
liberalism or democracy, at least in the United States, anyway. In
Not putting each other
religiously
down.
pluralistic societies.
And it's funny because like when I went to my friend's mosque one time. He's Muslim, and of course I'm raging Christian. And he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "just do me a favor, don't wear your cross in there. It may offend certain people." And I said, "No problem."
Be like
And
so.
I didn't. No. I said, "No problem. I want to be welcoming. I don't want to offend anybody because I'm in their house. They're not in mine.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
in
have
their
to
house.
hide who you are in the process.
I'm not. They know I'm a Christian. They know that. But I don't need to show something that's going to offend somebody that doesn't know me
I'm
personally.
only letting it slide because it's their house. Otherwise,
That's it. That's it.
we would fight.
And and towards the end, I was making jokes. I was like, let me ask you a question. I'm joking with them. If you put your hand in holy water, does it start to boil? Like I'm like making light, making jokes. And they're laughing, ha 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 ha. And then we sat down and we ate, which is odd because they eat with their hands. They don't use utensils. I'm like,
Oh yeah, like
okay.
in
Yeah,
Ethiopian restaurants, you do the same
yeah.
thing.
And I'm like, did you wash your hands, bro? You know, it's like,
You
but I'm
asked him
like,
that?
yeah, he's all I hear is
Did
clicking
you dip
noises.
your hands in that holy water before you sat down?
Yeah, and it started to boil. Yeah. But I remember I asked the guy, if you put your hand in holy water, does it boil? He's like, oh, he's like, "Hello?" He was like, what is he talking about? And then my boys laugh, and he's like laughing his tail off. No, but they were very welcoming. They were really cool. It was straight. It was good. But what I'm trying to say is that you would never, 15 years ago, you'd never think that I'd be friends with a gay Satanist. And I am. I'm friends with you, Jeff. Like, I got your back. Dolbez, I would never know that I'm friends with some crazy Norwegian guy, with 16 pounds of C4 in his closet.
You wouldn't be
So
like YouTube makes this all possible. I don't think any of us would have
Jeff,
imagined who
Jeff,
we'd be hanging out with but for this technology.
Jeff, you're wrong. And I'm going to correct you one way. It's not YouTube. It's our accepting of each other. We're accepting of each other.
Yeah,
It's
but you
us.
would have never have met Dolbez. There was nothing that would have connected you two.
You're right.
He would not have appeared in your life.
But if my mind wasn't open to talk to somebody completely different than me, then I would have shunned him and not wanted to talk to him. And what I'm trying to say is that I love to come up and talk to people that I would have never met, that have different views, that have
Oh
different
yeah, me
opinions.
too.
And
That's
we
one
can
reason I do that. That's one thing that keeps me here as long as I've been here.
we can
I could
talk
do
as
this for
human beings.
years.
James is a troublemaker. James causes trouble all up and down the mountain.
James not.
All right, James? James, yeah. James is wanted in like 16 states, at
Yeah.
least.
Well, good. We need more James in other states. I watched his
Just so
debate
you know.
on mental health, and he's
Yeah.
very sharp.
So
He knows how to
Jeff,
think. We need more people like that.
in a nutshell, everybody listening, in a nutshell, is it just simply just listen to each other more and count each other more and just, try to build from there? I just think that when we get cornered, we get defensive. One thing I've learned getting older is I don't want to get defensive. If Dolbez calls me out or Jeff calls me out or James calls me out, I'm going to listen to what they have to say because I might learn something. But in my youth, I would get offended. You don't know nothing. That would be my attitude, and that's immature.
Everybody.
Not listening to
They're
people.
you.
For sure, listen more, Mike. Yeah, well, come up and talk about it. Come up and talk.
Oh, he's this.
Yeah,
Some of these people don't panel.
come up. Oh, I wonder why.
I don't know.
Now-
Everyone
now
has
it's-
their reasons, though. So
The biggest reason, Jeff, in 3 years of YouTube, the biggest reason is because they can type strongly, but they can't conversate strongly.
that could be, but
And
that's valid.
That's
Some
okay.
people are better at written communication. I happen
Listen,
to be
we're-
better at speaking than writing.
Jeff, we're not all amazing like James. James is like a legend. We're not all amazing like James. We just need to face facts. So go ahead, Dolbez.
I didn't have
You're looking
anything to
good.
say. What are you?
Cole, I
Dolbez,
would
are
let
you-
you talk. If you came up, absolutely I would let you talk. And you know that.
Yeah. People get mad at me because I talk too much, but then when I stop talking, no one talks.
I know. I've noticed that too. That's why I really don't do much about it. 'Cause I let it take its natural course, and that is the natural course that I've noticed.
People are uncomfortable with science, so just
Yeah,
leave it be.
I
And
am.
it will be filled.
I love technology. But,
Oh,
no,
okay. Because if you ever did want to come up and panel, I mean, and just
Sure.
talk, just like say your opinion or what's on your mind, I would definitely let you talk.
Of course. I am very non-judgmental. I mean, anybody wants to chime in, chime away. Chime away. One thing I noticed lately, guys? Everywhere I go, I could be like in 7-Eleven, or I could be at the dollar store, or I'd be in Walmart. Why do I smell weed? Weed everywhere I go. Like, what are people smoking
Is it legal
weed?
there?
Yeah,
It is legal
Yeah.
in Virginia. Yep.
but why does it smell like old socks? Like, it just stinks. Like, why can't it smell like strawberries or like,
Well, some
like-
of them do now. They have all these different flavors. Tangerine.
I don't know. I guess they call it dank. The dank, like if it stinks, it's supposed to be good. I've never smoked weed. Jeff, I've never smoked weed in my
I
life.
do not believe that.
Okay, Jeff, Okay, we're in a
We're
cross.
all doubters.
Jeff, I swear to God, I've never smoked weed. I've never have. I've been drunk. I've been on prescription drugs, prescription from a doctor. But the only thing I've ever done was I've been drunk before. Other than that, I've never smoked weed. I've never taken narcotics. I never have. I'm terrified of what would happen, Jeff. I don't know what I've become something crazy. No, but
Yeah,
I
you
just never
might.
have. I
Well,
never
as
have.
long as you don't, as long as you do it right, you're fine.
Sure. I just never have. Some dank. Oh yeah. I was dating a girl. So I was dating a girl a while back. This is probably all right. So it's 25. I think this is like in 21, 22. I was dating this girl and she was like a really big pothead. Like she was always like, it can fix anything. I'm like, I have a broken leg and I smoke weed and I don't even feel it. Like, okay. But like, she was like, but I hated to be around her because she wouldn't smoke around me. But like it gets on your clothes and your hair. You know what I'm saying? Like you could smell it. And it's like,
Yeah, gets in your drug test.
yeah, it just always smelled. But it was legal. It was legal. It wasn't illegal. But I couldn't stand the smell. But she was always like, you should try it. It's really relaxing and it makes you chill out. I don't know.
It is relaxing.
Yeah.
Depending on the strain, it's like some strains can be very energizing, even anxiety inducing.
Yeah, some strains can. It just depends on the strain.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So you gotta
Well, yeah.
find
So
your
everything
strain.
other than your fry escapades, Jeff, everything else is going good in life. I heard you talk about you're gonna.
Well, I'm trying to find a job soon. Other than that,
Mhm.
that's like dominating my life right now. So once that
Well, Jeff.
happens, I'll
Mhm.
feel a lot more normal.
Well, Jeff, think outside the box. Think about something you may have never considered. That maybe, like you said, light labor or something like that. Like
White labor. What?
light labor, not
Oh,
white,
light.
light
Okay,
labor,
light
light
labor.
labor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would do light labor. I would even do white
yeah,
labor.
yeah. There you go.
I'd even do black labor.
Jeff walks in. We're hiring for white labor. You honky, you
Mexican.
hired.
Hey. Yeah.
No, like light labor, not ripping out ceilings, but like going in and like janitorial stuff, or
She
like
did the. I asked her. I said, if somebody just needed to work, like, what is the easiest job to get? She
yeah,
said janitor,
yeah,
and I
janitorial.
said, okay,
Well,
let's keep that on the list because I am
well,
willing to
so
janet.
Jeff, check this out. So I have two friends right now whose sons, they're in their like early 20s, right? One of his sons is he's road crew for a construction company, okay? A big Italian company. He's road crew. So in other words, he's the one that does the flags, adjusts parking. He does like when they paint the lines, when
That
they're doing
sounds fun.
construction on the roads. He's making $22 an hour.
Is that the people that wave the flags when the cars
Yeah,
come to like tell them to
yes,
slow down or direct?
yeah.
I would
Yeah,
Slow
love that.
down,
Sounds like so much fun to me to
flags
stand out there and wave a flag and direct
focus
yeah,
line,
traffic.
but
and
it's
then
boring.
but
Almost
Jeff,
say
then
it's
they're going to
boring.
upgrade you to line painting, where they come in and they with the truck and they paint
That
the
sounds even
line.
more fun. That sounds even more
Yeah,
fun.
and then you get on the crew that works on the interstates where they jackhammer the potholes and they
Mm.
fill them with asphalt. In other words, it's a
It's moving to
progression.
less fun territory now.
But you're making more and more money. Like the guys that work overnight are making 25, $26 an hour on road crew.
And
And they're
honestly, this
working.
whole thing started with just some part-time job to keep
Yes.
the channel going. And people like
What I'm
everyone's
telling
trying to
you,
steer me into a career now.
Jeff, all I'm trying to tell you is think outside the box. Don't think what you've
Yeah, no,
always done.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Because I'll tell you why, Jeff. The way psychology works is once you get your foot in the door and you get the ball rolling and you get the juices flowing, you start to open up to different possibilities.
Yeah.
You just have to get the ball rolling.
I need to
That's
find
all.
men. I need to work for men. Like find men looking for
Yeah.
job because all the problems start when I'm working around women and all the vibe shit starts getting set off.
Don't ask
Okay,
an autistic
I'm
to
gonna
do road work.
concede
Well,
now.
actually, an autistic person would probably be the best at it because they recognize numbers and order. They probably do the
Take
best.
care. I'm wrapping up here soon anyway. I got to
Oh,
go
yeah.
to an appointment.
No, but Jeff,
Yeah,
that's
I know, but then you have to work with them too. They're good at patterns and numbers and all that autistic stuff, but then the coworkers don't know how to be around them because they're weird and creepy at the same time. So then that
no.
gets prioritized more than how good they are with the patterns.
Yeah. Jeff, you're figured out, man. I just think that you should think outside the box and try something you've never expected.
I
And I think
am.
you
I
might
mean, my
end up.
whole I'm pretty much outside the box now. I'm trying to get in the box actually.
Yeah, that's what she said. But no, just keep going. Just keep doing your thing. Just
Yep.
make sure you tell the employer me and James. You'll get hired on the spot. No,
Okay,
but everything's good.
I'll save that when all the other tactics fail. I'll
I
pull
got a
that one
great
out of my
dude.
back pocket.
That's
Oh,
it,
by the
man.
way, did I mention I know Mike and James? They said to check with you guys.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You'll be good, man. Keep going. And like I
You know
said, don't
Mike
ever
from
rule it.
YouTube.
Oh yeah, you know him,
You
the
know the
guy.
guy from the GIF.
Mike. Mike's from, right? He has like 15 channels about him. Oh.
All right, I gotta run. Speaking of job stuff, I have another appointment coming
All
up.
right, man. I'm gonna have some dinner and relax. You got a full moon out tonight. Everyone
See
relax.
that.
Have a great night. Yeah, everyone have a good night, man. James,
The
good to
panel
see you.
versus
Jeff,
be crazy.
yeah,
In fact, let me
fun.
find everyone a panel to go to. James, are you streaming later?
No, I'm not streaming tonight. No.
Not tonight. Let's see. Zat has a panel going. Go check out Zat. iFi's up. He's playing a video game though.
Yeah.
But everybody out there in the chat, have a great one. Jeff, have a great one.
All right, buddy.
You too, James.
James, take care.
Good talking as usual. Here's Zat's channel.
Okay.
He has a panel going. Y'all can hop over there if you want. And I'll be out. Should be out tomorrow, same time, usual time. So I'll see everybody then.
All right, buddy. I'll take care. I'll see you later. Thanks for having me up, Jeff.
Yeah, you too. See you later.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. All right, everybody. That's it for us today. See you tomorrow. Take care. Right, huh? Full moon on Monday. Wasn't that a Duran Duran song?
It's Friday. I'm in love. Remember The Cure?
I do. I was listening
All right,
to them the
man.
other day.
That's it,
All right,
man.
take care, everybody.
All right, Jeff. Take care. Take care. Comb your hair.
Yeah. All right, bye. Gotta run. See y'all later. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll do it again.